Say the words, even if it hurts. We've been pretending nothing's wrong for far too long. Say it out loud, like you really mean it now, 'cause this is the last time. We're at the crossroad, and I can't let it go. I try to make you stay.
always make a difference.
This song sucks. I'm skipping it.
You are
What's up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of CounterPit. My apologies, I kind of was dealing with some issues and then realized that the stream was live and I didn't switch over from the ads because Vendetta, I'm not very good at this apparently.
It's hard, man. I've tried it once and I failed miserably, so, you know, you're allowed to make a couple of mistakes.
I may or may not have just woken up. It is Canada Day here, it's a holiday in Canada, and I'm bringing you Counter-Strike action because why would I be celebratory doing fun things?
I mean, don't all Canadians celebrate Canada Day with CS?
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, we've still got 10 feet of snow outside. I live in an igloo. I might as well just watch CS. No, it's gonna be a good game though. FlipSid versus Navi. We got 2 games today, in fact. FlipSid actually playing Navi first. That's the domestic battle, and Titan versus Penta. One of the interesting things, though, is that FlipSid, although domestic battles tend to be close, FlipSid have a lot of problems with Na'Vi. It's a team they can't seem to solve, although at SLTV we actually saw in Kiev that they came very close on Cobblestone.
Yeah, the first time around. The first time around on Cobblestone, they were very close.
Oh, my maps aren't updated either, so I actually don't know. Although I know Overpass is banned out, so I'm assuming Cobblestone's in, but Overpass is out for sure. We'll come back to that in a moment. I'm sure they're updating that right now because the veto actually just happened.
Oh, here we go, actually. It's going to be Inferno and Mirage. It's a bit of a different map pool from what we're used to seeing, actually, when these two play, because, well, I guess we saw Inferno at SLTV, but other than that, the last couple of games they played versus each other have mainly been on Cobblestone and Overpass.
Yeah, I mean, knowing now that we're going to be getting onto Inferno actually is kind of interesting to see, because if Guardian plays today, of course, yesterday he had internet issues and was gone for the entirety of the match that Na'Vi played against King when Angel came in, did well for them. But knowing that it's going to be on a map like Inferno, Guardian's T-side op's pretty good on a map like that. And Na'Vi's a team that's very coordinated in that they sit back and can allow you to push forward. But in doing so, they're covering all the angles that you're likely going to have to approach. And therefore, you can easily fall into the clutches of their passive-aggressive game style before they even execute.
Yeah, and also one of the added benefits that Na'Vi get when playing this map is the fact that Inferno seems to be the map where Edward just kind of shines. Not really sure why he shines, more on Inferno than other maps, but normally whenever Edward has a breakout performance, or not breakout because I guess he's an established top player, but whenever he really shines, that's normally on Inferno. Same thing goes for Flamey as well. He normally has good games on Inferno.
Well, that said, we will take a peek over at our Vulcan. Now, I've joined 3 leagues today to triple my chances of winning because, let's face it, I need all the help I can get. So I have 3 different teams. The first team of which is in the $1 triple up, so apparently I get a massive prize pool of $48 for only entering in on one. And this is the team I just most recently selected. I went with Guardian, Apex, Existence, Maniac. Now, these are the 3 bottom dollar players in the entirety of everyone that's playing today based on their recent performances. So 913 for Apex, I thought was a solid investment. He's usually a player that's fairly consistent. And Existence at 993, not too bad. Now, he's one that's kind of due, I think. I don't know. He doesn't always have top-level games, but every now and then he does poke out, and all I'm asking for to these players is consistency. I also went with Maniac. I basically saved my budget on the Titan guys, knowing that they should have a decent win against Penta, and I think they should at least, so they should be a safe bet. They should get me enough points, but then I went with Guardian as the shot caller. Zeus, Flamey picked up as well, and Simple and Bondig for FlipSid.
Yeah, and I think that's about as optimal of a team you can get, given the matches today. I think it's a wise choice to not go with any Penta players, and obviously no slight to Penta. But, on paper, Titans should be the stronger team, so grabbing 3 players from there makes sense. And obviously you want to have Guardian, Flamey, Simple, and especially Bondik, because Bondik has just been playing extremely well as of late. Probably the second best player on FlipSid behind Simple.
Yeah, I would say so. I think so. World Edit's kind of gotten a little bit more quiet lately. In another league, I do have Kenny S, because a lot of people would ask about Kenny S. I don't think he's been consistent enough lately, and where he's the op, you don't get the headshot bonus quite so effectively, and knowing he doesn't really have a rifle game that's on point with the rest of the players, I didn't think he was the best investment in the other league, but I did pick him up here just for nostalgia's sake. Again, I went with Guardian as the shot caller in this league. Simple, Apex, Zeus, Existence, Flamey, and Blade was my difference in this league. I had to go with Blade. But that leaves out Bondik. I couldn't afford Bondik in this one, so I don't have the consistency of Bondik. But again, I think they should actually... well, I shouldn't say they should, but I think that Na'Vi could take this series from them, so that may not be the worst decision in the world to drop out a FlipSid player, to sacrifice a FlipSid player. And then the last team I had, Apex, Simple, Bondik, so I got both of them in there. Guardian, Flamey, Zeus, Maniac, Existence, very similar to the first one that I showed you. And Guardian, again, is my shot caller in all 3. Hopefully he comes through for me today. But if you guys want to play, click below the stream, click on the little banner, or add the promo code CounterPit, and you can very quickly join in. They'll match your first donation up to $1,000, and yeah, then you can beat me, because my teams are apparently inconsistent.
I mean, well, it's not our fault. I mean, we're picking pretty good teams. It's just the players not stepping up to the plate.
Yeah, it's their fault, right? I entirely hate the players. Never hate the game, hate the player.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
I think that's how it goes.
Yeah, that's the saying I've heard, at least.
I went to rap school, and I'm pretty sure they taught me that on the first day.
Wow, you have rap school in Canada?
bro, we got all kinds of stuff here.
It's pretty OG.
I'm pretty in agreement with that. Let's see if they've updated this so you guys can see it now. There you go. Inferno. Picked up by Na'Vi, Mirage picked up by FlipSid. So interesting that FlipSid are going back to Mirage. They've kind of faded away from it a little bit, and knowing that they're going to this against Na'Vi is a bit surprising because that's also Guardian's home turf. But their T-side on Mirage is pretty solid. I did expect to see Cobblestone come out against these two teams based on how they played it against each other at SLTV.
Yeah, well, you would have imagined that it might have been Na'Vi's go-to map, really, because even though FlipSid have gotten closer at times to beating them on Cobble, Na'Vi still won all the games. So, you know, it feels like a pretty safe pick for Na'Vi as well, but I guess you can't fault them for picking Inferno either, because at SLTV, they just stomped them completely. I think it was 60-5 last time they played. So, yeah, I mean, if you're Na'Vi in this situation, there's not really that many bad choices you can make in terms of maps, because you're going to ban out Cash anyway, and after that, I think you're kind of in an advantageous position if you're Na'Vi, regardless.
Well, I actually do think Na'Vi's in a pretty good situation in this series. Remember, it's best of 2. They split this difference. They'll pick up points for a draw, and if either team wins it, they pick up 3 points, 0 points, obviously, for the loser. FlipSid's 1-0 so far this season, and that puts them in a decent position in the bracket. And while we've got time, we might as well take a peek at that, because Virtus Pro lead the way at 2-2 and 0, 8 points total, and then it's Na'Vi on 2-1-1. So they've actually lost a series, but because they have 2 wins as well, they're only 1 point behind Virtus Pro. Kingwin, meanwhile, who obviously picked up a win yesterday, we saw them do that against Na'Vi, are on 4 points. Now, they did have to forfeit that game against Virtus Pro. That was agreed upon before we even got to the point of decision time. They basically had ESL qualifiers. They decided outright that based on the amount of time left in the league, they would forfeit that, but they're still in an okay position. FlipSid might be able to jump them today, though, even with a single point, they'd tie them, but with a win, they'd surpass them, and then FlipSid would have to outdo Dignitas or Gamers 2 to make sure they secure the last spot.
Yeah, and obviously if you're Kingwin, you're hoping for FlipSid to lose here, because you've already beaten Na'Vi, you're in a pretty great spot, and FlipSid are kind of the team to threaten your position for top 2 in the group stages going into the playoffs, and obviously they want to start in the upper bracket. So Kingwin probably rooting for Na'Vi here. FlipSid, obviously, as you mentioned, have a really good shot at actually solidifying their position as the top 2, you know, if they manage to grab 2 maps here versus Na'Vi.
You know what I forgot to do? When I showed the Vulcan, I forgot to close my Facebook, so now I have a bunch of random ads.
Nice.
But I don't want to be friends with any of these people, Vendetta. I just want to be friends with you.
Aww. I'll be your friend any day of the week.
You're so cute.
I actually noticed the fact that because we had the handshake error on OBS before we went live, I saw that typed in your Google search bar.
Oh, did you? Yeah, that was. Yeah. So apparently, all that is the handshake error is when the server's down from Twitch. It's just that OBS doesn't recognize it, so it thinks that it's an error trying to reach out. So it's a connection error based on Twitch's fault, not OBS's fault. But OBS doesn't realize that. So we're on the New York server today.
Oh, cool. New York, New York.
Yeah, exactly. We are, in fact, on New York, New York, because it is in New York City rather than the state itself. So usually I stream on Virginia. I have better routing to Virginia, but we'll see how this goes. So far, no drop frames. If there is issues, we'll just have to deal with it, because I don't know how long it's going to be before the Virginia server returns to natural formation.
Doesn't Twitch have an office in New York?
They do. That's where Flarin works.
So I mean, yeah, exactly. So I mean, server should be good, right? Otherwise, we could just.
I don't know if the server that might be in their office. I know their London office has their server in it. They have a giant room with when we were at FlipSid, I walked over and there was I was talking to Tim, and I looked in that beside him, and there was a giant steel door, and I was like, "Ooh, what's this? The safe with all like the sponsorship money?" He was like, "Nah, just the server."
That's where all the shinies are. Like, he's saying it's servers, but it's really not. It's just a bank vault full of cash.
From all the subscriptions.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, I think it's fair to say that we're allowed to blame Piff if stuff goes wrong on the New York servers.
Yeah, he's probably in there tinkering with it.
He's just unplugging network cables as we speak.
I could totally picture it. Well, we're waiting for these guys to go underway. We do have one player missing from the server. No, we don't. Seized is here. It's just that Bot Zim is still taking over his place in the drop-down menu in the HUD. Let's watch Bot Zim. He's a pretty entertaining player. Do you remember yesterday when we had a bot stuck in the door? That was the greatest thing.
Bot Dave.
Yeah, you even remember the name. My God.
Well, I mean, Dave makes an impression on you, don't he?
I don't know, he was stuck in that door for like 45 seconds. It was probably the greatest thing.
Dave's a dumbass, though.
I really want to
gets
press
into those
E and take over the bot right now.
We should be allowed to do that, right? From GoTV? That would create hilarious situations. Imagine, like, for tournaments
Well, it'd
where
be
there's
impossible.
open
It's
GoTVs.
2-minute delay. Yeah, if we had no delay, 0 delay, well, we'd just be in spec at that point, wouldn't we?
But I mean, like, imagine if you have like an open GoTV IP, right, for a big match, and you would actually have the opportunity to actually take over a bot. Imagine how many people would be spamming E just to get in on that.
You're
server.
talking like Dota TV with everyone in there. I still think it'd be cool to be in the server yourself, have your own perspective.
Well, who knows? Probably, wouldn't be too surprised if it showed up in the future.
Yeah, I think there's still more to be utilized in terms of spectator options. Like if I draw on the map right now, which I'm doing, you can't see it, but it should show everyone else who's in the GoTV.
Yeah, basically have a built-in telestrator, and the fact that you actually could like draw without having the minimap up as well. Like if you just wanted to showcase something,
highlight guns or highlight like an angle that they're holding.
Yeah,
if I want to draw on a wall.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you could actually draw on the environment, like you can in Dota, where you can draw like on the ground, regardless of what's going on, and everyone can see it. That would be so nice. Like it actually, like, yeah, he needs to, bank the nade off of here. Otherwise, everything's gonna go to shit.
The other thing I'd like them to do is be able to create a way to orchestrate your own GoTV when reviewing demos. So therefore, you could do live demo review with multiple people and not have to sync manually.
Like have a lobby, pretty much.
Yeah,
Which is so
exactly.
weird, because like back in Brood War, like StarCraft Brood War, that was a possibility. That's not possible in StarCraft 2. I think it's possible. No, is it really even possible in Dota 2? Like, it seems like it's a feature that so many new games have gone away from, which doesn't make sense because it's such a nice feature.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure if they still do in Dota 2 or not. I know the lobby exists, but I don't know how you can do reviewing in that manner.
Yeah, but like, how cool isn't that? Like, if you could actually just, like, instead of having to watch individual demos, you just do it as a team, you just pop up one demo, everybody looks through.
Oh, it'd be so much better. Be so much better.
The camera, right? Like, oh yeah, this is what we have to look out for when we're playing Navi, that type of shit.
I remember back in the single-digit days of the millennium, so pre-2010, when you were on a team, you would have to like...
When we were young.
Yeah, back when I was the lad, you would pull up a whiteboard and like join into like an MSN chat together where you could like have this secondary third-party program and draw like, oh, if you run here, I can go here, and that means I want you to throw a nade here. And you were like, I don't understand how this processes when you get in game, and then it never worked. But it was like the best option,
the idea, right? Yeah, exactly. You got to draw and stuff. Life was pretty good back then.
To be young again. Hey, we got a knife round.
Alright, obviously whoever wins the knife most likely going to start on the CT side. I would be very surprised if we saw someone actually opting to go on the T side. But yeah, not the biggest thing in the world on Inferno, like most of the time. Normally teams should be able to get at least a couple of rounds, like 4, 5, 6 rounds on the T side of Inferno.
CFC's brought his lightsaber today. Apparently he did. Because he still has 100 HP, considering he dashed it a single player 3 times.
That's something like a lot of people don't know, the fact that the slice range is longer than the stab range.
Yep.
So you can actually, like, if you want to catch up to people running away from you, you can just spam slice the entire time, and once you hit them once, you're kind of in. There we go. Navi wins knife round. Not surprisingly, opting to go for the CT side.
Yeah, not surprising at all to get that early start. So Navi will have the advantage of trying to take full control of the situation early on, keeping in mind that buys are going to be pretty crucial. If they pick up the pistol, that's great. That's all good and well, but they need to manage the economy early on. It's how a lot of teams actually give up leads on Inferno that otherwise shouldn't be in existence. I think very specifically about Envious, who have given up more than multiple games trying to force out early on this map.
Yeah, it definitely happens way too often. But I'm assuming since we, a bit of a difference from yesterday, Starix is back in the coach slot for Navi. He's probably not too amused with how things went yesterday versus Kingwin, so he's probably there to keep them in check.
I totally had a guy just try and add me on Facebook called Chicken 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 with a picture of DDK.
What? Well, that's something. It's not the original chicken, right?
I don't think so, but either way, game's going to start. Simple making an aggressive play already toward Banana, but they've got a 3-stack over here from Navi's perspective. And Flamey, he's going to man up and take the fight directly down the alleyway. Does get caught off guard, but not before taking one, and then it's Zeus's turn to pop out. He'll pick up 2. Blade and Simple go down. That'll turn the round back onto Markelov and World Edit. The last 2 remaining. Tech 9 in hand for Markelov, but only the Glock. A little bit of armor for World Edit. No utilities, only the smoke on Markelov, so none for World Edit.
And the bombs dropped all the way back towards T-Pit here, so they're like, it looks like they want to find picks, at least Markelov does. It seems like World Edit is going back for that bomb, but they have no control right now of what's going on. They have no map control whatsoever. You can see that World Edit is taking it so slowly.
And Edward's going to fall passive as well, just because they don't exactly have a read right now on the 2 remaining players. They did pick up that bomb that you mentioned, and World Edit's got that in his hands. Markelov just wants to try and split up the defense, get a read here, try and at least take a site. If they can get a bomb down, that's a bit of a win in this situation, because it would still allow for an early buy if they save on round 2. And it looks like B's going to be the point of contention right now. Zeus is going to be forced back with a single smoke. Puts a lot of pressure on C's, but he's not peeking yet from Nubox. He's just going to sit tight, wait for them to wrap around, and already World Edit finds Zeus, so Edward has to be quick on this rotation, but they've overlooked the fact that C's is still there. He taps and gets the first. It's left to Markelov, and they're pinching from either side. In fact, he has his back turned to his first threat. It's Guardian, and that's going to do it. 1-0 Na'Vi.
Yeah, that was a very nice play from C's. Might have seemed quite selfish, the fact that he pretty much just let Zeus die, but by doing so, he make sure that there's no way FlipSid are actually getting the bomb plant down. So instead of risking it, just going out for that duel, even though he probably would have gotten at least 1 kill in that situation, it just negates any sort of income from FlipSide side. Oh, this is actually kind of surprising. We're not seeing Simple with the Deagle in the second round. World Edit has picked up his, and we've seen FlipSide buy plenty of Deagles previously, but Simple's opting just to go for a Glock, so that kind of tells you that he might be going for an op here.
Around the corner, C's gets dinked down to 36 HP. Blade tries to fire back through that smoke again, but the MP7 will come out firing, and it's going to find Blade, who's up on top of the crate. So man advantage now, again, for the guns of Natus, Vincere, and they've got 3 FAMAS and 1 M4 to work with, along with that MP7 we've already seen pick up the kill, but Markelov's now has a rifle as he takes down Edward for free, and they'll push on to A immediately after. Guardian's got to rotate the long way over from the B site, does get in toward Library in a reasonably quick manner. And as I say all of that, it's actually going to slow things down here from FlipSide. It looked like they would lurk and try and push out toward Pit. Instead, they fall back and want top middle. And they'll use Markelov's rifle to open up more space. Good flashbang out, and they look the wrong direction because Guardian's on the flank. He's picked up 2. And now when C's turns back to answer with him, or rather, World Edit, excuse me, C's pops out and he'll close out the round. That's 3 with the SMG. Decent money gained.
Yeah, nice round. I'm slightly surprised that FlipSide didn't try to go for it once they got actually downed Edward and Apps there. Could have gotten into a situation where they could have caught Suze off guard in the pit, or just overwhelmed them simply. But them deciding to just chill out and hang back actually allowed for Navi to get 2 men rotated over. And that obviously makes it pretty hard when you don't have any armor at all. And again, we're seeing just a completely clean eco from Simple, so he's. I'm going to be super surprised if he doesn't pick up an op in the first buy round.
Yeah, its T-side op is actually really good on this map as well. So we actually kind of have a treat today where we've got 2 decent T-side oppers.
Yeah, and that's actually kind of surprising because at SLTV we were talking about that pregame, you know, expecting to see Simple's T-side op on Inferno, but instead it was World Edit picking it up time after time. Seems like this time around Simple's gonna opt to go with the op.
Good nade from Guardian. As you say that though, the game that I casted with Anders on Saturday morning, he did pick up the op and got 2 quad kills with a T-side, but he only had 11 kills in the half, so every round he didn't have the op. He was actually quite ineffective. Guardian closing out on a round that slipped away a little bit. They've lost 2 players. They may not lose much more than that if Guardian can continue on, but Simple's going to get desperate here and just try and go for this bomb plant. Really wants the economy, and well done by him. That's a bit of a win. They'll spam through, and Seized will get the kill, but they lost 2, and they give up a bomb plant, and now we're going into guns. Undoubtedly, they'll have money for the op.
Yeah, and double ops on T-side Inferno probably not your go-to move, so I'm assuming it's going to be Simple only to pick up that op. And this is something you see pretty much every time FlipSide get into this situation. World Edit and Simple are the ones to not buy an op, at the beginning, and they're kind of discussing it in between themselves, and we're actually going to see 2 ops on the T side. That makes them extremely immobile.
It does actually make them extremely, like you said, for a T side specifically, they have to get openings early. Simple's the one that's trying. Guardian's not going to take the peek because he didn't have a close spawn, so there's no point addressing the situation as he arrives there late. Instead, this allows Markelov to work up toward apartments. But we can see Edward through the X-ray. He's waiting in the hallway. Should Markelov push up the stairwell?
I'm kind of worried for Navi. They're playing a really aggressive setup in Banana right now, and if one of them get picked off by the op here, it spells trouble. As soon as they figure out that there's 2 ops out there, I would just bail back into site and just hold it passively and try to force the ops to actually make something happen. And there you go. Offset comes out from Markelov, and then you just back off.
Flamey was smart to get away from that. He spotted the boost. And the reactions weren't quite there, so they didn't get the shot in return. But this double op setup, man, this is aggressive. Blade's going to have to get an opening working for them here shortly because there's 39 seconds left in the round, and they've yet to open up even a single kill. Which does mean as they go to execute, they'll have less to work with in the close quarters.
Yeah, not that many nades left on Navi, though. So FlipSid have done a good job of forcing their hand of Navi in that sense. There's only 2 flashes left on both sides, and that's on Guardian on A.
And here we go.
They're committing to be here.
Leaves seized in a bad spot in the back of the site, is smoked off inside Emo, but manages to pick up one before that. He slides back out. World Edit answers him. That's one of the op kills, and World Edit up close is going to make it a double. Edwards on his way for the rotation. Simple. He'll check all the angles, and this should give them a decent chance, but the time's going to expire. They can't even get in position after that.
Yeah, and after the time runs out, World Edit dies. And there you see the issue with having 2 ops on that map. They are so mobile. If they don't find any opening frags, which Navi didn't give to them, flip side, Flamey, as soon as he saw that they had the tower down at the bottom of T-Pit, he just bailed out, played passively on site, which is the right move from Navi. And FlipSid had no real way of actually entering onto a site. That was just really awkward, because they just started to go in there when, there was like 20 to 15 seconds left. And that's not enough time, because you have to have a perfect take on that side if you're going to have any shot at getting down the bomb. And even though World Edit does a great job of actually picking up 3 people, the bomb guy goes down and that's it.
We do have a pause. Apparently some internet issues coming out from FlipSid's perspective, but not getting a bomb down. Losing a gun after the time. Look at World Edit's money.
It's actually at 0. And the only thing he actually invested in is the smoke. I guess the good thing is the fact that, the others died, which sounds weird, but since they had clean ecos going up to this and they actually got a bomb plant in their last eco, they will be able to buy up. And Simple obviously managed to hang on to that up of his own.
I mean, that's the good news, is the rest of them can still buy out, but World Edit, that's a tough spot to be in. It's going to take him a few rounds just to recover that economy.
Yeah, and also the fact that in the previous round, FlipSid had the opportunity, they had the advantage of having more nades in the later stages of the game. Obviously, it went too late, but Navi were very dry on nades towards the late stages of their round. This time, FlipSid are kind of dry for nades already. They have 5 smokes, which is great, but they only have 4 flashes. So when they finally want to go towards the side, they're going to have to expend everything they have and kind of hope it's enough to disrupt the Navi players.
Different approach this time as well from Simple. He's going to head toward alt mid. Flash already through the window, so wanting to get more aggressive. Tries to force the hand of anyone in Boiler, and he's got the angle lined up now. Should Zeus go ahead and get aggressive on the peak in return? But he so far is not doing that. Meanwhile, pressure getting applied to Flamey. And apt to the name, he'll throw out a can of fire. That goes a little bit deep, though. It will lock one player. Who's that? That's World Edit inside Banana. Should he try and fall back? But now they aren't holding the aggressive angle, so he does have an escape plan as FlipSid look toward the A site now. Not able to find that early pick. Meanwhile, Zeus, though, and does get the first. Now it's Blade coming around. They get the trade with a flash over the top. It's a little bit late, but either way, they get away and get out alive until World Edit goes for the repeat. Now, again, he didn't have the gun, but he did try and pick up Simple's op, and Guardian, he'll drop that fire on top of it. They won't be able to recover it so easily. Markelov did manage to get his way inside the Boiler, though, and Edward pays the price for it. So that leaves it back to 3-3, but a Guardian's still lurking on the archway. He still has to get smoked off. Eventually they'll put that out. He's got a slight gap to work with, but I'm not sure it would be enough unless he could spot the exact moment he stepped out of that doorway and react accordingly through the smoke, but stranger things have happened. It is Guardian we're talking about. He's more than capable. Meanwhile, though, Seized is in a much better position. He just lines them up. Bondic dropping the bomb. 16 seconds. There's nowhere for Blade to go. And the only place he'll go is straight to hell, as Guardian's going to put him there.
A solid hold from Na'Vi. Simple not picking up that first frag onto Susan mid there kind of hampered everything, because it looked like they were more or less counting on Simple to open things up towards that A bomb site, and after that they just got picked off one by one. Now they're back to an eco. This time around Simple does opt for an eagle, but you know, it's got quite a bit of an army to go up against.
Really passive hold again this time. So Flamey we've seen push out toward Banana a couple times in different situations, but Na'Vi go back to a more passive strategy, and this likely is anticipating an eco based on a double buy and a double loss on 2 straight gun rounds, so they don't want to get caught off guard right now and drop rifles.
Flamey does good damage with the HE as well onto Bondic. No, I mean onto... No, actually, it's not Bondic who's taking damage from Flamey. Bondic's taking damage in the apps here. This Blade, actually, it didn't take that much damage at all from the nade on B. But right now, there's not really a lot of hope for FlipSid to do anything of value in this round. They don't have any nades to work with. Na'Vi are playing passively, not giving up any kills, and there you go, Seized already starting things off.
Flash comes out. That was bounced by Flamey. Caught Seized a little bit, but either way, they have the chance to go for the peak. A little bit premature, though. Seized called that one was around the corner, but Bondic got, Flamey got aggressive after that. Meanwhile, Seized, he'll still find World Edit. He doesn't need the help. He can do it himself, thank you very much. As Edward finds Bondic, leaving just Markelov remaining. A legend of days gone by, Markelov. Quiet on this team, it has to be said, though.
Yeah, 15 seconds. If I'm him, you're just gonna have to run into the Hellfire right now. Yeah, and he makes it pretty easy for Flamey by just showing his feet for a good 2 or 3 seconds before he actually runs out. Alright, but flip side, they are gonna get a buy round out of this eventually. I mean, the money loss bonus is gonna help out quite a bit. So we see World Edit actually being back to the op. So not Simple opting to go for the op once again.
Interestingly, on that double buy situation, after losing the first gun, Na'Vi had more economy working in their favor on round 5. And yet still couldn't close it. So round 7 underway. It's going to be World Edit that goes to the op. You mentioned it, that on this map they still like to designate him as the primary opper, and Simple's the one that calls for that. If he has the confidence, he's the one that says, okay, give me the op, I'm going to do some work with it. Meanwhile, it's the rifle he's going to use this time, and the AK-47 will find Edward as World Edit pushes forward. Smoke out, that goes deep. They know he has to be on car based on the trajectory of that nade, but yet can't find the angle, and now Flamey's got himself into a decent position to support, but he's late getting that flashbang out as again he goes for the stylish bounce, and it works on that Bondic. As he gets caught in no man's land, can of fire as well, but World Edit's waiting for the repeak, and he makes no mistake on it. As Simple now wants to try and push up, meanwhile lurking onto A. There's 2 players inside. In fact, he's got a support over his shoulder in Markelov. And they'll spam through the wall, but to no avail. This forces them to fall back, but still have the man advantage. Good trade by Simple. Unfortunately, it couldn't come sooner, so they do lose Markelov. But every trade will favor the defense right now as this forces the CTs to split up. And Guardian's going to have the pressure applied to him as they look toward Banana right now. 27 seconds. They have to commit. We've already seen them lose one round due to the fact that they did not get a plant on this B site. And Guardian flash comes over, but an early peek from World Edit. He gets spotted and therefore goes down. And that brings it back to an even situation, but yet no rotation coming over from Zeus. So Guardian has to do it all. Tries to fire through the smoke on the first, and jumping across, he spots Simple, who now gets above on top of the spools, and that makes it easy for him to take the shot immediately into Guardian. And as the bomb ticks away, Blade's going to take the fight directly to Zeus, and there it is, resetting the money bonus, but FlipSid have won.
They finally have one on the board. They do survive with 2 players as well, so that's a good thing. That means that they don't have to drop that much. But in the end, it all comes down to whether or not they can hold off or actually break through the defense of Na'Vi in this round. Because if not, they're back to, square. Back to start initially, and they're going to be completely broke.
And again, that round they got the early pick, which starts it off. In this round, they're going to do the exact same. Guardian picked by World Edit. We haven't seen Guardian lose the op battle yet, but in this instance, he will fall. World Edit immediately changes his attention back to Banana now as well. So looking for all opportunities on the map. They've left a solo player on Banana. It is Flamey, no surprise. That rotates Seized back over to take over the gap that's been left in the wake of the loss of Guardian. Still mourning the death of their teammate. We'll see if they can recover into the round. Simple's now going to jump toward Boiler, and Markelov at the bottom of the stairwell has to wait for the flames to extinguish before he can try and push forward. That does clear the bedroom, gives them the confidence that he only has to check the hallway, and they'll peek it together, but no one is there. In fact, they've given up pit entirely. They're playing a forward approach on this A defense, and the top of mid's going to be hard for FlipSid to take, but they don't necessarily want it. They've got two players here. The bomb, meanwhile, has gone back toward Banana. Seized, although, has gone back in that direction himself, so there's two on either site defensive-wise right now. And out come the smokes, out come the flashes. It's Seized to peek again. Simple, meanwhile, still wants to lurk. Seized is going to get that first kill. Flamey's in good position. And as we said that, the lurk works successfully, so the bomb will go back, but it's Edward in the pit to find the first kill. Markelov's going to go down as well. World Edit will trade him eventually. But he's done an excellent job as Edward, because now the situation subsides. As two remain on either side of the map right now, and they've rotated back over, and it's Seized on the rotation that will catch Bondic. They know where the last player remains inside the pit, and they've got ample opportunity to try and get this defused, as there's still a decent amount of time, but World Edit finds the first, and World Edit makes no opportunity lost on the second. It's Seized to go down, and it's two straight. Never mind the money reset, excuse me.
Yeah, no, great run from World Edit. Picking up that entry frag onto, or the opening frag onto Guardian there in mid is obviously a massive advantage for FlipSid, and the fact that he just follows it up with 3 kills more just does it all for them, and that forces Navi back on an eco, so this is a prime opportunity for FlipSid to actually pick up a couple of rounds and build their economy.
And Blade catching off Guardian, getting aggressive, almost takes down his teammate when he peeks out and spots another one falling back down middle. That's Simple, but he gets Zeus. Flamey at least gets one. Flamey actually making things a little bit more interesting here, as Seized will add in based on the initial damage that Flamey did before he got traded out. So 2 guns drop, Blade on low HP. Doesn't matter, Markelov's going to find Edward, but they lose 2 rifles. They'll recover the op. Bondic's going to grab that.
Yeah. So, yeah, valiant effort from Navi, I guess, with their anti-eco. Didn't quite fully commit to the Navi push that we know, with 3 people, rushing straight down mid. Only Guardian this time. But picking up a few kills, that's alright. It's a shame they don't get the guy on 5 HP, which I think was Blade. But, they're just going to have to be okay with that. So, got to be back to weapons right now. They don't have that many nades, and FlipSid have done a good job so far in this game of actually baiting out quite a few nades from Navi. So if they can do this one more time, then that should give them a great opportunity to actually get onto a bomb site.
Simple waiting at mid for that smoke to dissolve. Flamey, though, again, winning the duel at Banana. This is the first time they've had the first pick in 3 straight rounds, so we'll see if they can build off of this from Navi's perspective. As the smoke late will go out, that covers off the choke point at the top of Banana. Bomb is dropped at the top of the mid stairs. It's Bondic who goes back to recover that, and they do want to move it at least forward into Banana, so they have the option to attack should they get an opening. And all the while, they'll send Markelov again on the lurk to try and open something up on the A site, but they're going to execute quite quickly here. The smokes are already being deployed. The good news is they've used 2 smokes themselves on Navi's side defensively, so at least they've baited out the utilities from Navi.
Yeah, and that's exactly what you want if you're FlipSid. So them looking to execute towards B, I think that's perfectly fine. Now they just have to hit their shots because they're in a perfect situation to actually do something.
Zeus will push down the stairwell. Take that back. He's going to cut over because he realizes Markelov fell down middle, not getting that first kill. And what a read that was, because he completely cut him off, rotating back over to the B site. Meanwhile, the bomb's going to go down. As Bondic puts that in position, they're a man down, but they've got time to get safely inside the bomb site, and World Edit actually takes the fight to Zeus before he gets on the flank, but an aggressive peek from Bondic gets caught off guard by Edward, and this allows Guardian to bait the bomb plant. Edward might be able to actually hold World Edit on such an angle that he won't even be able to get the diffuser, but he finds the first kill, and now he has to take the fight, and he loses it. Guardian, a whiff from World Edit, and Guardian takes the shot. He's got a kit, he's got the time, and it's going to be 7 for Navi.
Also a free op for Guardian. Oh, that was a really close round, and for a second there I thought World Edit would have it. As soon as he gets down Edward, that's such a tough situation for Guardian to play out, especially being on low HP. But works out for Navi in the end. Luckily for FlipSid, having those 3 rounds in a row, though, kind of salvage things a bit. They will be able to buy up again, and World Edit has been doing a really good job with that op, so I think that's important for them to actually have that on him. And obviously, because Na'Vi lost so many members, they're not going to be able to build up their economy at all, so you can see how few nades there actually are on their team right now.
I'm going to play passive right now from FlipSide's perspective as Markelov's sitting outside the apartments, just hoping someone's going to push, but Na'Vi, that would be uncharacteristic of their T side, or CT side rather, excuse me. Guardian will be the one to deploy the smoke this time on beat. That'll save one more grenade over there should they need it. And right now there's no indication whether or not they will, as 2 players lurk in Banana, but there's no commitment yet from FlipSide. They've got 2 also over on A, and that bomb's still in position at middle.
Yeah, this is pretty much what FlipSide have been doing every single round. The only round where we've seen them, initiate contact or initiate a fight towards A is that one run after they ran out of time. Otherwise, it's mainly been focused on Banana and having Markelov and Simple just kind of roam around towards apartments.
Bondic looking to use the skybox bounce to his advantage, but that nade doesn't quite bounce back enough, or low enough rather, inside the site, so the explosion radius will have no effect.
Na'Vi are already down to just only 1 flash on their entire team. But 20 seconds left. They're actually just going to send in Blade alone. So I'm not sure if they wanted to try to sell a fake or something, but well, here they go towards A.
And that should have been the indication right there that that's exactly what they were trying to do. As they will work back over toward the A site. World that it's going to be late, though, getting there, and unfortunately his teammates have already dropped down, so 7 seconds save the op. He's going to fall back to T-spawn. And yeah, FlipSide, you're right. Oh, he actually stays aggressive. And will survive, though. Guardian's not going to repeak that. But interestingly enough, it's FlipSide who's almost taking a page out of Na'Vi's book here, because they're the ones that are playing passive, waiting for the utilities to be used, and then trying to attack late. Unfortunately, it's just not paying off for them, as that round they get annihilated on the A site. And we saw in round 5 where they didn't get a bomb plant down.
Yeah, I just still think it's a good game plan for FlipSide, but I'm kind of curious as to why they wanted to have World Edit with Blade towards the B bomb site, unless they were so confident in actually taking the B bomb site after Blade just sacrificed himself towards B that World Edit would be able to pick up rotation kills. But I think normally you're better off just having World Edit with you on that push towards that A bomb site, so you're at least safer or have a bigger chance of actually taking the site.
And Zeus will get underneath the patio. As we see the pistols, it's the first time in a while they've had to save, and Simple's recovered the op that World Edit's dropped. Again, we've only seen that double op setup that they ran on round 4, excuse me, which was also the one where the bomb didn't get planted, not round 5, so my mistake, but that was the only time we've seen Simple pick up the op. And there is the Simple factor. Keep that in mind. If he even gets 1 or 2 kills and gets rolling here, there's still a chance for this eco to work for them. So he creeps aggressively. He's already spotted 1 cross, takes the shot, that gives up his position, and now Guardian's going to turn his attention back, and unfortunately there's nothing Simple could do. If he'd hit that first shot, I dare say there was an opening for them to wrap onto the truck side, but that's going to get stopped and obliterated by only a CZ75 from Edward. It's all he should need. When you have a divine beard like Edward, it's all you need.
I mean, yeah, that beard of his is pretty legit. Not gonna lie. I think, like, Edward and, I guess, Havoc from Renegade, probably the best beards in esports. In any case, FlipSide are kind of back to, having to force buy right now.
My apologies, I had to time someone out. That's why I wasn't talking for a moment.
Ah. I have to moderate chat while casting. Such a multitasker.
Yeah, I know. That's what we do here in Canada.
A bit of everything.
So this is actually going to be an apartment take, and there's no one inside pit, so there's a chance that this could work, but the crossfire is strong, so Zeus picks up 2 before Simple can only respond to Edward. Excuse me, but a late smoke out. Guardian pushes through it, he doesn't even care, and Zeus has potential to pick up more here as they continue to walk out blind. No utilities used, and they had guns in this round, let's not forget. Seas will find World Edit, who was waiting all the while at truck, watching his teammates go down and not having the opportunity to enter. He could have actually potentially taken a fight to Zeus to distract him, but it's going to be 10 now for Na'Vi. It was a close little run of his 3, that 7, 8, 9 rounds that went to FlipSide, but it's been nothing ever since.
Yeah, that was the first quick round we've seen towards A this entire game. Actually, it's pretty much been the first really quick round we've seen altogether from FlipSide, and it didn't work at all. They just got completely stomped. They never got out of apartments properly. They didn't even do, like, proper flashes for each other. So they didn't have a pop flash for pit or a pop flash for the site coming out from quad. So a bit of a weird execute from FlipSid, and it, not surprisingly, got shut down.
Decent start to the round in terms of explosive action, though. Trades both way. This will bring us back to an even situation, but again, bombs back over toward the A site. They have rotated accordingly, and Guardian with the op. He's been on point so far. And interestingly, it's World Edit who leads the way on the opposing side. So Simple looks to go forward. AK in hand, he's been rather quiet, by Simple standards at least. And quiet is exactly what the situation entails, because no one really making any noises at all. Finally, they'll deploy a flashbang. 43 seconds, still an ample amount of time to try and work onto this bomb site. And Edward's flashed up and caught by that, and Simple thinks he's going to repeak, reads it correctly, but unfortunately doesn't land the shot. And Simple might get frustrated based on a play like that, because he did the right thing, and Edward will collect the last player remaining, again, staying alive, managing to pick up the other. It's crazy what might have been if Simple had hit that shot.
Yeah, big kill from Edward. Kind of salvages the round, because otherwise you're going to have Guardian trapped and Pit versus 3 players, and there's no way he should be able to get out of that situation. The best he can hope for, really, is just survive for a long enough time to have the other guys from B rotating in and actually having a legitimate chance of retaking.
Decent smokes, decent flashes. Guardian, he's waiting now with the op. I love it. Just goes for a wild shot as he turns back. And he actually legs up World Edit down to 18. Impressive stuff. And now he's actually going to get Simple working out a boiler. So again, Simple not having a factor early in the round. He's known to get frustrated in these situations. I think we highlighted that enough during the weekend in Kiev. We'll see if they can stay composed, because they are in a massive deficit right now. And again, they're more of a T-sided team, truth be spoken. But against Na'Vi, they've had so much trouble beating this team in the past. Seems to be the case again here. And it's Edward this time. The next to get spotted. He doesn't even need to call for Guardian's help. He'll just fall back passively inside the pit. In fact, he's going to stay on the railing. Better still, slow down Markelov with just the use of the fire. And 40 seconds remaining in this map, or excuse me, this round. We mentioned that last time, but they were already executing. In this one, they're still setting up for a default, trying to find picks. And Guardian's not even going to allow that to happen. And he actually is going to slide out and take another one into World Edit. He goes down, and Blade, as a result of this, will go back toward Banana, firing out the smoke. That'll cover off CT connection. He has bomb, so still a bit of a chance to try and work in toward the site. But look at the fire on the opposing side as that smoke slowly dissolves. Bondic catches C's walking through. He thinks he can go for an early peek, and Guardian's late on the rotation, as is Edward. But Guardian still knows there's one lurking. Gets him through his teammate. Thank you very much, Edward. I'll use you as a wall. And the penetration works to great success. It's 12-3.
Yeah, pretty dominant half by Na'Vi. I think FlipSid had a fair shot of getting quite a few more rounds, but initially they just fell flat when, they were actually executing, and it doesn't seem like they're super comfortable playing that kind of Na'Vi style, like letting the time run out and pitting out, all the utilities that the other side has. But I think it's the right way to play at. Play up against Na'Vi with, because it definitely worked. They got Na'Vi low on nades pretty early in most of the rounds, but they just weren't able to actually execute in time and get onto a site. And I guess it kind of goes without saying that they have to win the pistol round here if they want to have a shot, and even then it's going to be quite a bit of a mountain to actually climb back from.
Ooh, Simple. Aggressive peak. And you're dead right. Pistol's going to be the only saving grace for them right now, but Simple already down to 3 HP, and they're just going to rush up mid as a result of this. It was a standard 3-2 split, and look at how many Na'Vi players are around the corner, and Simple not hitting that shot's going to give away his position. He still manages to take down Guardian, but not before Edward found Blade, so nothing changes in terms of numbers. They're dead even still, but now it's Bondic and Markelov to change that situation before Z's tries to bring it back, and Bondic will double up, taking down Zeus. Seas has to fight forward 1-on-2, has the HP advantage over Bondic, but he's only got 3 left himself, and this will give a great chance to World Edit. Should Seas fail to hit a headshot, I dare say World Edit will pick this up, but Seas knows that bomb is down, and he's going to go for the wild pop shot, jumping up with the burst Glock. World Edit tries to bait him out and go for a longer angle, more elongated view, so hopefully he'd catch his shoulder with just a careless peek, and that might be the case right now as Seas will go out and World Edit. He'll
solid recovery from FlipSid there. As soon as the guy goes down in arch and Simple is down to 3 HP, that should be Na'Vi's round. They had the opportunity to wrap around as well, and they managed to do so as well. I think it was Bondic who got picked off on balcony. It was either Bondic or Blade. And at that point, like, Navi should be able to gain control of it, but FlipSid doing a good job of just staying alive.
And another pause this time. Lagged, according to Blade.
Yeah, Blade and Markelov actually both are pretty high ping here.
You're actually right. Markelov's sitting on 70, Blade on 75.
So not the optimal thing to be playing with. I'm assuming that might be why, you know, they're having a bit of a struggle right now, but I know they've agreed to play on the server, so I guess you can't really fault anyone else but themselves.
Oh, Flamey thought he was so careful and clever to dodge that nade as it bounced down by the pillar, but unfortunately it went just beyond, so 50 HP left on him already. Look at this flank coming down middle. Blade's going to get there. They caught out Simple, so they read that one correctly, and that's because Zeus is waiting on the stairwell. He's also going to get a nade. And look at the P90, though. What a recovery from Bondic. Doesn't have the same kill reward, but when you get 3 kills with it, it's still sufficient. Zeus has the Mag 7. We'll see if he can find anyone. Not going to happen. World Edit gets there before he even has the opportunity.
Yeah. Solid anti-eco from FlipSid. Very aggressive, though. Like, super fast rotation. And it works out even though Zeus picks up a kill, which is kind of lucky for Navi, I guess, because Zeus had been hanging out in spawn for some reason. But, you know, all in all, pretty good round for FlipSid. Didn't lose anything of value in terms of weaponry, and I'm actually kind of surprised to see Simple opt to go for the Colt here. That's a pretty big investment.
It's going to be a shot from Blade to take down Zeus. And the nade as well on Edward. Drops him onto the red HP, which is more than enough for Blade to get the last shot into him with that MP7. And Simple now with the M4, losing a little bit of HP, but he's still going to man up, take the fight. Flamey goes down, and FlipSid tactics. Great recovery after looking what looked like a lost pistol round. Now have the 3 standard rounds, but guns are going to come back out. And if they equal the task here of winning the first gun round, they might stand a chance at bringing this game back.
Looks like, yeah, Simple's going to be the one hopping on the CT side here for FlipSid, so not that big of a surprise, really. We've seen what he's able to do in mid with that gun, so this is a great opportunity for FlipSid to actually get into this game again. Simple kind of botches his flash, though, so he can't go for the aggressive peek into mid.
Simple, look at this passive angle. Really desperately wants to take the peek toward mid, but knows there's a chance. So disciplined play right now from Simple, knowing there's a chance that the op from Guardian was waiting. So instead he hopes that someone's going to push forward into his crosshair. Unfortunately for him, no one does, but he'll adjust this angle. And this is the thing with Simple, he's so dynamic. He just needs to sometimes make his communication more clear, because by switching over to departments like this, he does leave a gap at top middle, which now has to be compensated for, and that's exactly where the rest of the team is coming, as Flamey will take down Bondic, and this forces the hand of FlipSid, and they have to go passive. Blade on the repeat, Guardian gets him. And now it's all left to Simple. Still alive and still kicking and still getting one, missing that no-scope by a mere inch, but pushing through. What a play! Man's up like Heath Ledger on a horse with a lance, and he's going to actually take it down like a Knight's Tale. And it's World Edit left in a 1-on-2 bomb yet to be planted. Manages to take down the bomb carrier, but they slide out together holding hands, and that's going to give Edward more than enough opportunity to take the kill. And it's 13 rounds on the first gun for Navi.
Yeah, that could have easily gone FlipSid's way as well. I think Blade made a bit of a mistake actually re-peeking an Archer, giving up himself to the Guardian. I think they would have been better off just playing that from an angle. And maybe if Simple has a flash readily available, even if he doesn't, I think you're better off just waiting in an angle, waiting for them to push you and Arts instead of just taking that challenge, because that leaves Simple in such an awkward situation. And FlipSid are actually opting to buy up, and there's a P90 on World Edit. Normally you'd see probably, you know, maybe a 5.7 and then nades instead, especially when playing that B bomb site, but he's gonna opt for the P90.
Simple opens up the round again, having the op still alive in this one. So early pick CT side, he changes this time and stays a little bit more passive again. His rotation last time, doubling up on the apartments, left a bit of a gap for Navi to work with, and they took advantage of it. Then, oh, look at this P90 from World Edit. It's all he could afford in the round, that it makes more than enough damage as it takes down 2, and Blade coming back through the smoke. He's going to find Edward with the 4, and just like that, C's can only contribute to 1 before Simple gets hot on his heels with the op, and that's going to make it 7. So they do respond and force the hand of Na'Vi. They'll go right back to pistols.
Very scary round, though. Guardian, I'm not sure if he tagged him through or if it's just a leg shot, but he actually put the other guy with World Edit on site, which is, I think it's Markelov. Put Markelov down to 18 HP. And if Markelov dies there, then obviously if you could get the trade kill onto World Edit, which they eventually did, that still allows you to get onto site. But good job from FlipSid having the quick rotations.
We'll see what Simple can do this time.
World Edit's just a really big fan of SMGs. Picked up an MP7. He knows he's
Why
going
not?
up against that eco, so it's a good opportunity to actually pick up some free cash.
Dollar bills, y'all. Kid wants to be a baller. That's all he grew up dreaming to be. And right now, FlipSid's dreaming of winning this round and doing so successfully as they take down 3. But Flamey will at least come back. Edward as well. That makes it down to only 1-man advantage right now, but Bondic sliding from truck side catches Flamey off as he tries to retreat to the safety and confines of the top of mid. And that allows World Edit to catch Edward as trapped around the corner, so they'll pick up another round here. But guns are going to come back out. Actually, they're really strapped for cash still on Navi's perspective because they bought out so many utilities, so they're going to have to go with the Tech 9.
Yeah, luckily for them, they do have the cushion to actually do this. They have a 5-round lead already. They know that they're going to be able to buy up the next round anyway. This is actually a very big investment, much bigger than I expected. I see 4 smokes and 4 flashes. Thrown away 2 of them now, but this is a pretty big investment, and it could still do quite a bit of damage to FlipSid, and I think that's kind of what the mindset of Na'Vi is as well. They know that they've done damage to FlipSid, continuously taking out that op from Simple.
Markelov going for that nade. Let's use time and time again over top of the picket fence. Hoping to catch people in banana, but there's no one there. They're already executing, and they're already around the corner. Simple there a little bit late. Can't get the first shot, so that allows Zeus to actually walk forward with this Tech 9, and now Simple goes down. And again, it's another one of those one-shot changed plays where if he catches Zeus off, the second player stays alive at Library, and potentially they both continue on to get the man advantage, and this leaves only World Edit, so really well done by Na'Vi to take advantage of that map control. And again, it's Simple that's slightly out of position. Bomb gets planted. World Edit, he'll pick up 1, gets up on top of the spawn and finds C's, but now they know exactly where he is. And it's 2 rounds to go from Navi's side.
Very cool execute from Na'Vi, actually. Like, focusing so heavily with their smokes towards the quad side of A. Just, left so much space open in Arch there, and allowed them to get up with multiple people, and eventually Simple just gets overrun with that awkward smoke put down towards Library. That was really, really nice to see. And obviously the fact that FlipSid gambled and actually had 3 people towards that B bomb site didn't do a lot of wonders for them.
Simple waiting this time at B, so changing his angle again as he's known to do when things are not transpiring in his favor. And he finds Seized, so this time they have the early pick to work with. And an early rotation based on that alone, so they'll stack up this A site. Actually, they're going to swap it. So they bring the op over, and as a result, they send Markelov back over to B. So this is just a switch play, and Bondic's going to slow things down on Apartment. I actually like this switch, although shots already coming out. And Guardian finding Simple on the repeak. Simple again, just getting caught off late. See if Bondic can find this flash. He's going to throw that all the way out toward the arch side, allow his teammate to go for the peak. That's Blade, but there's a smoke that's there as well in front of the archway, so he won't have vision. Neither will Markelov, as we can see who's waiting. And 2 players will creep past him silently, so he won't even have that advice to give to his teammate. But that flash comes through, and Blade inside the doorway is able to dodge it, and therefore come back around. But he needs to not get caught right now by Edward, and successfully does land the shot. So Edward dropping, leaves just Guardian and Flamey left. And they're doubled up right now. The advantage is definitely in FlipSid's favor, and they make no mistake in closing out the round. They're almost to double digits, so we're still not done yet.
A very solid way of holding that A-bomb side, actually, after they lose Simple. That time around, Blade decided to play way more passively in Arch when Na'Vi came through, and, waited for that flash from Bondic, got into Library, and was able to work with the smoke instead of just blazing right out and just hoping for the best. That definitely saved the round for FlipSid.
And Zeus this time actually gets forced back. Interesting Molotov to use that, so obviously knew that Zeus was there. That changes the complexion of how they were hoping to pick mid, but only for about 7 seconds. So back he goes into the same position, and he almost catches Simple, who was already peeking, and Simple, wise to the fact that he was coming, gets all the way back around the corner quite quickly, and Zeus spots Blade's shoulder and manages to turn back around in time to not get flanked. And now he has the chance to take the direct fight as Seized has the Tech 9, and we've already seen what he can do with this gun already, just 2 rounds ago. And they're actually going to readdress the situation and potentially take a look toward Banana because things are slowing and FlipSid's reacting perfectly and getting passive as the play works toward them at every opportunity they have. And Markelov sliding it finds Edward based on a flash that he was trying to dodge. So even though it didn't blind him, he just didn't have time to react when he 180'd back around. And Simple again, he's changing his angle, so he'll push forward. They have gotten to arch side, but look at the positioning of Bondic, who's waiting inside CT spawn, and he'll allow them to cross over. But he's given up the information to Simple, and now he'll be able to fall back. One in pit. Simple's got a great angle. He's a little bit exposed to his right, but that might give Blade a bit of a chance. Actually, it's Blade who shots at his teammate, but Blade gets the chance to come around from Library. Double from him. That's more kills in the last 2 rounds than he's had pretty much all of the first half, as he adds to his total. And Guardian, with 4 seconds left, thinks this op is far too valuable, so it's going to be 14-10.
Yeah, again, FlipSid just showing a lot of patience whenever Na'Vi tries to attack that arch area. They're doing a good job of it. So, it doesn't even matter if they, you know, have to expend all their nades to do it. As long as they stay passive, it's so much harder for Na'Vi to actually break through because they have to check so many angles. And Markelov is doing a good job of actually rotating over quickly as well. So, oftentimes you'll see 2 to 3 players from FlipSid covering that area, and Na'Vi just get completely stuck.
And they'll go back to his more traditional crossfire setup on B this time with World Edit and Markelov there by default. So Simple's gone toward A this map, or this round, excuse me, as Bondic's aggressive by Boiler. He'll have his back exposed to Boiler if they go for the boost or the jump through the window, but Simple's covering it. Flamey, meanwhile, does get Bondic, but Simple, what a shot on Edward up close. Now he knows that they're also going to be pushing onto the stairwell. Has to go for the no-scope. If he jumps forward like that, he gets back into position, but he's going to get caught off guard as Seized pushes forward, and luckily Blade catches Flamey before the op can do damage and bring the situation back to 2 versus 2. Instead, it goes 3-1, and Seized is already being trapped inside the apartments, although Markelov's not going to push down alt mid and catch him on the return. They'll stay at least passively on the site, potentially not give up more lives and space than they need to, and have to split up the bomb sites because there's still 44 seconds.
I'm not really sure what Seized is doing with these ops. He's just throwing him down into second med, and I'm not sure if that's like his backup strategy, like if he actually has to save, he's gonna go for those ops, but yeah, I wouldn't be too worried if someone coming up from behind you, picking up an op instead of an AK and then firing at you.
The only thing I could potentially think of is that he was trying to throw them further away from the position of the op, like his opponent, so if he dies late in the round, they can't go grab them themselves.
But yeah, that would make sense, but they already have an op on Simple, and so far it seems like Simple's the only guy who's gonna opt for FlipSid. They have the money to spend on FlipSid's end because they've won 3 rounds in a row. But yeah, that's probably the thought process of him now of Seized, now that you mention it. But yeah, still weird to watch.
Yeah, it was a bit peculiar, I'll give you that, but the elusive 15th round right now for Na'Vi, who can't close this out. TSM once said they don't have a choking problem, they have a 14 rounds problem. I think Na'Vi have got the same issue right now.
Well, credit to FlipSid though, they're doing a good job of not taking too many risks. I mean, that previous round was probably the most aggressive we've seen them in quite some time, and that was mainly because they were up against an eco.
Seized gets through the smoke, he's actually going to catch Blade, but Blade wins the exchange with the M4 despite taking the damage early in that battle, so he goes down to 34, but Bondic's still alive. He'll catch Zeus, but Simple through the pillar, doesn't hit on the first shot, does on the second. Guardian dropping, leaving Flamey on 9 HP, and Flamey's going to walk out, realive Markelov's already in the position he hopes to escape from. And it's 2 rounds the difference.
And I'm kind of crossing my fingers to see Na'Vi actually try something towards the B bomb site, because they've just been completely shut down whenever they tried something. After winning that eco round with Tech 9s towards A, they've just been completely shut down on A. As soon as FlipSid decided to take more defensive setup, like, they haven't gotten anything done, and wow, this is aggressive coming up from FlipSid.
And Edward around the corner, at least be able to get 1, make it 2 now with the Tech 9, and turns back to watch Guardian's head get torn off his shoulders directly in front of him, and that's a very quick anti-eco.
Yeah, that was very Na'Vi-esque, actually. Having so many people push down down into mid. This is something that Navi used to do back in the day, but really cool, really effective. And FlipSid have kind of been that way the entire game. Whenever they've had an anti-eco round, they've gone aggressive, and we saw that right after they won the pistol. They would just continue to either push down mid or down banana. Previous round they pushed down, or stood aggressive in apps, and this time pushing down mid. So they're not giving a lot of space for Navi.
And Zeus tries to round the corner, gets through the fire. Now he has the shot on Blade, and they're coming quickly, so they have a chance to wrap from the archway. Simple has to turn his attention back that direction, but also aware that he could still be flanked from apartments. And this pulls Bondic a long way over. And Bondic double flash, has to sit tight. Fortunately, he hasn't had anyone get aggressive on those flashes because he would have been in a tight position. Now he'll fall passive to the site, and Simple realizes that that flash going by his face means that there are players truck side as well. And they're going to get pinched. Edward's already there. Bondic down. Simple has to stay efficient, and he's already losing his life. They're going to try and wall him through the edge of the apartments. But they need to wait. He needs to stay alive and allow Markelov and World Edit to get in position for this retake before he dies. As the bomb is planted, it's a 5-on-3 post-plant situation. Edward inside the site, watching that smoke. Hoping Simple will pitch through it because they would be waiting. And look at Guardian. He's already worked his way inside the apartments.
And all the FlipSid have kind of admitted defeat here. I'm actually surprised that Markelov is still playing this aggressive. He does have 14k, so he's going to be able to buy up anyway for the remainder of the game, but I don't know, if you're saving your weapon, save your weapon. He's got to get away with it with one kill onto Zeus, so... Actually, what is World Edit doing?
Surviving.
Okay. So, the hardcore mode of surviving right there.
So overtime at best now for FlipSid as that elusive round does eventually come their way. 6 rounds after they picked up the 14th. That resets a money bonus, keep in mind, but they'll have weapons out based on that victory. So Guardian with the op. We'll see if he can get an opening. It's going to be Simple in exchange on the CT side. We'll let it early nade down banana, fire from Blade to slow things down, but that's misthrown because a smoke came out from the opposing side, so it's immediately taken out. So that's a bit of a wasted utility.
Looks like, yeah, Navi just want to set up stuff towards the A-bomb site. That's what they've been doing pretty much the entire second half, and they're not changing their plans at all.
Blade looking for an opening here, trying to find something if they get a little bit careless. And in fact, he's going to cover the doorway. That allows Simple to slide out on the balcony a little bit further and cover Boiler with the op, but it's a very fragile crossfire because if anyone beats the other, the second player's left in no man's land. We'll let it still sitting tight with Markelov, who's trying to put some damage through the smoke, but there's still a really passive play right now. No one pushing forward from Na'Vi, and this is classic Na'Vi to wait it out, try and bait out those utilities, and then execute so quickly with 35 seconds. It's very likely going to happen any second, but the bomb's actually heading back to Banana, so they might take this toward B.
This is gonna be
they're going to wrap.
Split. This is the first time they go to B, so this might catch them completely off guard.
It puts a lot of pressure on the 2 players inside B site. World Edit, Markelov. They have been spotted coming through CT by the late player inside of Library, and World Edit's forced out of Orange's 1 just based on that fire alone, and Edward might catch one of the rotators off guard here. Flamey's inside the site meanwhile, and Edward has got the only kill, and oh, what a save shot from Guardian. Bomb was going down, and if they'd taken Flamey there was no way they had time to plant it, so Guardian keeps the round alive and leaves Simple in a 1-on-2 with his teammate Bondic against only Guardian. But this round could have been over already if not for that play, and they'll get him anyway. They're going to hold the defuse, and Bondic takes down Guardian. It's going to make us face all 30 rounds, but is it going to be overtime or is it going to be GG?
That's the big question. Navi, they're not going to get the best spy out there. You see a P250 on Ceased, Tech 9. Actually, there he gets an AK, Zeus dropped to him, but Ceased, yeah. Actually, yeah, Zeus is going to just give away his AK because he has the Tech 9, which is better than the P250, so that makes sense. So not the best.
Better than every gun in the game.
Yeah, well, yeah, almost. But they have 5 Molotovs on Na'Vi. So I'm really curious to see where they're going to take this. If they're going to actually... Well, it seems like they're setting up for an A-take once again, but I'm curious to see where all the Molotovs are going.
And again, Markelov is going to wait with World Edit inside B. That's where the pressure came last time. We saw the B split. They've got a different setup this time. All 5 over on A. Markelov realizes and comes back toward that archway, but a late smoke will cover off his position, and Zeus is going to go straight through it. And that's a joust with the Tech 9. Everyone dying right now from Flipside's perspective, it's left to just World Edit and Bondic's already gone, so leave it to World Edit, who picks up one, and he's got low HP on both Guardian and Zeus, so there is still a slight opportunity for him to win this round. But he has to win this round, or it's all over. It's match point, and the bomb down, it gives him even less chance. Time is now his enemy as the chicken walks into the fire, and perhaps a bit of foreshadowing for what happens to World Edit as Edward comes around from the top of middle, and that's going to do it for map 1.
Very close game, though. A lot better play from FlipSide than what we saw at Star Ladder. So, definitely improving. I like the way they actually play that A-bomb side for most of the time. They got caught out a couple of times, but I mean, when Navi goes towards that A-bomb side 14 out of 15 rounds, you know, you're bound to lose a couple. But overall, I really like the fact that they decided to play so passively. Navi seemed to struggle quite a bit, actually getting onto site most of the time.
Well, we do still have one more map coming up, and as we can see, it is Mirage, and that's FlipSide's map choice. They've got an excellent T-side on the map, but it is Guardian's home turf, so we'll see how that unfolds. Best they can hope for now is getting the single point from a draw in this series. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back extremely quick, because these players, having gone the distance in that game, will want to ready up quite hastily, I guess you could say. In a hurry, in a hustle. You know what I'm saying, Vendetta. We'll be back.
It took one look, but you played me like a game. I can see it. It took one look and now you stare at me the same. It took one look, but you played me like a game.
but she said, trust me, these are the stories we will tell. As I stood frozen, infinite, I almost fell, but I got a feeling and my heart starts beating, a sudden rush of feeling alive. This is freedom and I won't change, I won't phase out. I'm no ghost, let me go.
Welcome back, everyone. Map 2, it will be Mirage, and it's Na'Vi with a narrow victory. A 12-3 halftime score for them, but then 16-14 only when it all came down to the end. And FlipSid, this is a map they actually, in my opinion, are better on than Inferno.
Oh yeah, I would agree with that. Actually, it's the map where they've actually managed to grab a couple of wins versus Na'Vi more often than not. But it's usually very close. I think their 2 last wins on Mirage versus Na'Vi have been 16-14 both. So should be quite a close game, this one as well. But we have, I mean, at times we see FlipSid fall apart. We saw it during, I think it was ESL Katowice. They lost 16-1. That was, I think that was a bit of an anomaly because FlipSid didn't get anything done at all during that entire tournament. They just kind of bombed out of the group stages. And they didn't play with Simple, which is a pretty big factor.
Yeah, not having Simple is always the factor. I mean, having Cyber Focus in, who started off the season with a decent amount of hype behind him, and then it was soon discovered that he was definitely not on the same level as Simple. It's hard to be on that level, to be honest. There's not many people that are. The other player that used to play with was Davkos, who's gone completely, I guess, AWOL. I haven't seen him in a long time. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but yeah, obviously if you don't get a steady spot, you're not going to get the same exposure as the other guys do. It's kind of just the nature of the game, really. Both of them are still playing, obviously, but they're not playing with that profile teams.
Yeah, exactly. But 2016, that ban does lift. There's a lot of people that predicted FlipSid wouldn't even be in existence by that time, just simply because of the dynamics they have on this team. The fact that Simple is banned until then, that they couldn't use him, so what was the point of relying on a player they couldn't use? And then they've already surprised a lot of people in terms of their performance and how long they've lasted as a team. And now they've only got, I mean, they're half the way there. Another 6 months, and he's out of the ban. He's ready to play again in ESL.
Yeah, I'm actually one of the doubters who figured that team would dissolve fairly quickly as soon as that ban was lengthened to 2016. So yeah, kudos to FlipSid for sticking together. And I know we've talked about it time and time again because it's a relevant point pretty much every time FlipSid plays. The fact that they've kind of had to split up their team for various tournaments. That's obviously not going to be an optimal way of preparing for any tournament ever. So it's going to be fun to see how they do once that ban is lifted and Simple is able to attend ESL majors. Yeah,
I mean, I still have them pegged as sort of a 9th, 10th team. Definitely tier 2, but I think there's room for improvement. I mean, the way that they played in the group stages at SLTV, now, of course, there was only really 2 tier 1 teams at that event, and those 2 teams did end up being in the final, but the way that they played and performed was, I think, very impressive, and, you know, if they could find that sort of consistency, they would definitely be a team that everyone has to be more than aware of and can't take lightly. So another 9th round underway. We'll see who starts out on the CT side. Now remember, it's the T side for FlipSid on this map that, typically speaking, gets them most of their success. Nice try, Guardian. That's not going to work. Bondic was waiting. And, I mean, for them, getting a decent CT, much like was the case with their T side, oddly enough, on Inferno, may just be enough to push them over that last little bit because we saw how close it was regardless.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And with how well FlipSid have been playing as of late, I wouldn't be that surprised actually if they ended up beating Na'Vi on Mirage. But we know that Na'Vi used to be kind of the kings of Mirage previously. So I think this is anybody's game really. I think my only expectation really is that it's going to be like a 16-13, 16-14 game.
I think that's a reasonable guess. I would say it's going to be double digits. I mean, unless FlipSid come out completely flat, that's the only aspect of this, is that if they can't get rolling at all, then this will be over quickly. But I mean, if they put up anything, any sort of consistent level performance from what we've seen from them, anywhere near their top level, we should be able to see them pick up, I'd say, at least 12. So we'll see how it goes. They're going to start out CTs, so they get the chance right away to see if they can get that stretch, get that early momentum rolling for them. And a pistol on the CT side would be massive to even potentially give them something close to 7 rounds, which doesn't sound like a lot on something like Mirage for a CT team, but in this case, it would be massive, and it's already falling apart a little bit as Simple checks the underpass. Now, they do get information from this, but they not able, to get a trade until Markelov does that to Edward, and now World Edit waiting for Flamey, so it does turn Mac a little bit here, and Na'Vi's a bit trapped because they know they're in the underpass, they know they're in the B apartments, and all they have to do is contain those possibilities and not allow anyone to rotate back through T-spawn. As Guardian, though, lurking on the A site, has pulled 2 players in that direction, so they may still get a bomb plant down at B, oddly enough. The only one even close is the player on Catwalk. That's Markelov, and he's going to get dropped by Zeus. Brings it back to, believe it or not, only one-man advantage right now for FlipSid, who seem to have the map fully in their control, and Zeus on the drive-by. He does damage on a World Edit, down to 10 HP for him. Through the smoke they'll go, waiting on the inside of it. Flashed up, though, was seized, and he's able to pick up one, but not before Zeus does go down. And it leaves us with 2 players remaining. 2 players down. Seized pops out with the Tech 9. They line up. No idea where he was.
That was a very back and forth round. Like, Seized definitely should have had a kill before his teammate teammate ended up dying there as the FlipSid tried to retake, and then he kind of just salvaged it by picking up 3 frags. Now he also did a pretty cool thing, which is something that we saw Fnatic started to do with, you know, buying Tech 9s, dropping them for someone with armor. They dropped a Tech 9 for both Seized and Flamey. Flamey didn't get that much done, but in the end, Seized kind of saved the round completely with that Tech 9.
That round, I think, it shouldn't even have gone that direction, but the over-rotation on Guardian, they gave up that B site. I mean, they had control of it. They had the information based on the fact they were underpass, and again, we talked about that start getting momentum rolling. They do have a scout right now on World Edit, but very likely they won't get overly aggressive with it, as the bomb's already planted. They've already lost 2, make it 3, excuse me, of their teammates, and World Edit's getting tagged up, down to 33. He's going to try and run, but he's already got person in the form of Zeus coming through CT. He at least collects onto him, but Flamey, he'll take away the life of Simple. And World Edit switched over to the AK, which might work, but he needs to be careful because they're in the choke point. They're crawling through, and he could have had them lined up, but that flash actually forced them to look away, so they snuck in, and Edward gets the kill.
Very expensive round, though, for Na'Vi. They definitely could have made that a lot cheaper, but just allowing for, I think it was, who was that? One of the Na'Vi members was about to actually wrap around. So he ran from jungle, wanted to go around CT spawn and catch World Edit in the back, and if the 2 Na'Vi members just kind of hold out, they probably could have gotten him for free. Instead, they lose another AK.
Around the corner goes Edward. Markelov dropped already. Now inside the site, looking the wrong direction. World Edit gets caught by him as well. And Simple at least picked up Zeus, but Guardian's just pecking away right now with the AK through connector back toward the A site, and that's where Blade will fall, leaving Simple and leaving Bondic. A little bit of team damage shot out for Edward as they break out the vents. He gets a little bit confused by it, but holds true, keeps the shots firing, and takes down Simple. And poor old Bondic can't do much about this. Or Kenny. I guess he'll at least make it interesting. He's got the first. He may have a chance to pick up 2 here with the P250, but Flamey's not going to allow that to happen.
And Edward making use of that Mag-10, picking up 3 frags, so he's going to be loaded with cash. And, well, Na'Vi are going to go into a pretty comfortable buy round here. And yeah, this is, again, you know, it's kind of a broken record when you're talking about FlipSid, but that op on Simple, how much impact he can have with that op in the middle area is going to be massive for FlipSid.
Well, we're going to get a taste of that right now, and he's just already gotten inside the window room, has the angle held. It's Edward, as we can see now, who wants to take the fight to him, flashes out, goes to the peak with the AK. Meanwhile, 2 players have crept up the underpass, so the player in connector, in the form of Simple, who's rotated around, has to work with Markelov in tandem to make sure they control the bottom of middle, because the top middle fight doesn't even have a chance to exist with the smoke in the window. And a smoking connector as well.
Yeah, and you can see how careful Na'Vi are about actually taking mid control. They're expending so many smokes and nades just to get Simple away from that area, and I think that's a wise decision. You don't want to give up easy opening kills for Simple. So this is just Na'Vi being thorough.
Simple's got the op staring. Lags up 1, that's Edward to go down to 24. Flashbang goes over from Blade. He actually gets Flamey when he just tries to retreat back into the safety of the stairwell, and it's Markelov who lines up the first. Low HP on the second player, Edward, but unfortunately not aware that he was also going to be coming around the corner, and as such loses his life, pays the ultimate price for it, but World Edit compensates. He's going to find Edward, knowing there's 2 more in the site. He has his teammates rotating over, but Guardian takes at least one of those down. Bomb dropped. That's crucial, and World Edit may only have 2 HP, but again, he's got the support coming over from the rotations. Seized will collect onto him, pick up the bomb, try and go for this plant, but Bondic's positioning is strong, and he'll catch Seized in the open.
Good first round buy from FlipSid right there. So even without getting the opening frags in mid from Simple, they managed to make it work. Obviously, Blade picking up that first frag on Flamey was pretty big, because it's a big tell given all the intel they had and how many smokes went down in mid, that you know, if there's only one guy kind of poking around towards A, then the committal is probably going to be towards B. So picking off Flamey there just kind of alleviates a ton of pressure and allows you to make bigger rotation towards the B bomb site.
Bondic has smoke in front of his eyes that he placed there intentionally to cover off Palace. Also gives him the chance to walk up slowly on the ladder and not be detected. Or so he hopes. As Simple looks toward the main connector.
And Navi doing the same setup once again, just smoking out everything in mid, trying to get Simple away from the middle area.
And again, they'll utilize underpass as well. In fact, they've got C's through and into the window room already. So taking down Blade, this forces FlipSid a little bit into an awkward situation because they have to fall back and cover 3 angles on the A site. And Guardian catching Bondic sliding into the open leaves only Simple left on A, and they're going to execute. They're going to go, and Flamey's going to find Simple. Nice headshot from the AK. Markolov's hoping they don't smoke off this connector, and he'll have a chance to catch them on the cross. But as we can see to his right, the X-ray perspective does have C's still waiting inside the window. So not a free rotation from Markolov, and down to 24 HP as he collects a bullet that ricochets from the op. C's will walk through.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, Aziz walks through the world edit, but Navi really took their time of getting that bomb down. So even with 2 smokes down to cover off CT spawn, Flamey took no chances.
You gotta know when to hold him, know when to fold him, and walk away. And that's exactly what Markolov's gonna attempt to do with this M4, although he's not really walking, he's standing, and Seized finds him a little bit of sleep.
Well, it gets dull waiting around corners, right?
Hey, do you want to build a ladder, Vendetta?
I want to build a snowman.
Do you want to build a snowman?
No. I actually don't remember the lyrics, which is kind of horrible. But I know it's something na play.
Yeah.
I mean, I almost nailed that, right?
You almost got it. You should audition for the next Disney movie. Simple this time's limited to just a pistol. And he's not scared of using it. He'll try and slide out right now.
The rest of Navi, though, just completely going gung-ho in that B-apps. Onto the site, and yeah, this is probably going to be a pretty easy round for Navi. Should be able to negate their losses pretty easily, and it's only Simple left with that USP.
I really want Twitch chat to come up with a way to build the snowman. I'm sick of seeing this ladder. I don't even know where I'm climbing. It's not the stairway to heaven, I know that much. But Navi, they'll collect the round with a flawless anti-eco, leaving 5 alive, building their economy up now, as we can see. Not a need to invest aside from Zeus, who poor lowly Zeus has to pick up an AK. The rest of them have tons of money to work with.
Yeah, Navi are in a pretty sweet spot right now, and with FlipSid having to double eco, not a great position to be in. I mean, Navi could probably be pretty okay with getting 6 rounds on their T side as a whole. They could probably still work with that on their CT side. Do like the deagle pickup from Simple, though. He's been able to make that work quite a bit, but down to 30 HP, kind of boxed in an underpass. I'm assuming C's is going to be able to pick him up once he shows up.
And Seized is getting aggressive back toward the stairwell. Simple gets caught by that because unfortunately he's not looking directly above him. Why should he be? And this leaves Blade holding on to the A site from CT stairs, and Guardian already looking at that angle. Doesn't give him much room to wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. And Seized will come back over to join the raiding party on A. Interestingly though, Bondic has worked his way inside Palace, so he might be able to recover that by turning back and at least taking down 1 or 2 when they enter into the site.
Navi being aware of where people normally play though, so smoking off apps, just being super careful about everything they do. A pretty textbook anti-eco coming out from Navi so far.
It's catching on. They're building a snowman in chat now, Vendetta.
Nice.
I want this to be the biggest, bestest snowman ever. And Bondic's bought himself some time, at least. Flamey has dropped, but he's not able to pick up the rifle where Flamey went down, so there's really not much to salvage. Instead, he'll just try and damage the economy. It's Seized he attempts to do so against, and unfortunately, it's unsuccessful.
Yeah, a very good anti-eco from Navi, not taking any chances at all. You can see how slowly they work their way up mid, and knowing that Simple was down in underpass, they just kind of slowly suffocated him, boxed him in, and Seized picked up that easy frag. Only world that it really making an impact that round, getting that 1 frag. So yeah, so far, I mean, our fears of FlipSid coming out flat is is, you know, it might be a reality at this point because Navi are just looking very, very strong.
Simple checking the underpass. Going for the op jump shot, not the scout. Not the scoot.
Like a true Canadian. I mean, yeah, you should
It
extend
is
your
Canada
O's
Day.
now that it is Canada Day. Yeah.
Exactly. Let my patriotism shine through. I do bleed maple syrup after all.
Would you say Boondik?
I would say Boondik. He's one of the Boondik Saints.
Solid reference.
Alright, well, Simple does have the op. They'll fire into the smoke toward Palace. And Na'Vi doing Na'Vi things. They're just going to sit back, stay passive. That snowman's getting out of control. Like a Guardian looking to smoke over. Now, they're used to the wall of smoke. Remember, this is what we saw at MLG at the time. Keystars do back when they were in their previous iteration, but it's not going to work out right now because the fire's aggressive, and Boondik, does take down Flamey, but Edward trades that. Smokes are deep on CT. They haven't put one in the middle of the site. That does leave Blade with a bit of opportunity to catch off on C's. That drops the bomb, but Edward again getting a trade. He'll be able to work toward, but the smokes are dissolving because of how slow it's been, and FlipSid may have just done enough to slow this down. 1 HP for Markelov. He's forced back down connector, but Simple's found Zeus, and time is ready to expire. It won't even matter. There's no chance for Guardian to put that in place.
Yeah, and there you see how to counter this A strat, pretty much the set A strat with the smokes, the wall smokes. Then that's if a team commits heavily towards the pit area with 4 people, 1 Molotov is enough to just completely stop everything, because you could see how easily Na'Vi were contained to that pit area, not getting onto site. Even though they managed to trade Bondic, they can't get any further from it, so that pick doesn't really matter too much for them. But the smoke's actually being kind of bungled. There was a gap in the smoke towards CT spawn, so the guy they had in apps as well couldn't really go out and start putting on pressure from several angles. And that was just very well held by FlipSid. And if Navi wants to do that again, I think they have to commit 2 people towards apps.
Simple again, forced to change his angle. He can't quite see over that smoke to realize there is one in underpass, and they'll have sought that shot. Guardian, with no one else able to peek mid, not even a smoke on window. Simple rotates early. Guardian's able to walk up catwalk for free, and Simple will be lamenting that chance because it's lost, and as is the man advantage. A power play, so to speak, now for Na'Vi. We'll see if they take advantage of this or not. It's well deaded inside B. Has Seized creeping to his left. He could actually see his head if he realized it. I think he does late. And Seized gets the better as he comes back over top. And the AK absolutely obliterates World Edit. It's going to be Zeus to do the same now to Blade as a Flash tried to come in and slow him down, but it went a little bit deep and he was already pushing through. Bondic, though, recovers. He'll find Zeus, but it's a 1-on-4. 19 HP. Very improbable. He would be able to close this out. Need to add to the damage, hopefully, so the bullet can do the rest, but it's Edward that wins the exchange.
Yeah, so worst case scenario, pretty much both times FlipSid have picked up a round. Just go straight back to losing it to Navi again. Money being reset, most likely going to have to do a double eco, especially if they want that up on Simple. They have to double eco here. And at that point, we're looking at 9 Navi rounds on the T side already.
Yeah, I mean, this is a bit of a problem. It's typical for FlipSid not to have a solid CT, but again, that pistol round very easily could have been there had they not over-rotated on Guardian's Lurk. That would have given them a bit of a cushion. We potentially could be seeing 5 rounds up right now, and in some ways, I dare say that's enough on this map, but this is Navi's home territory in a lot of ways.
It really is, and, well, Edward almost goes down in apps there, kind of wobbling about, whiffing a couple of shots with his op, but he's there to help him out. Well, still pretty decent defense from, well, I say that. I was about to say still pretty decent defense from FlipSid on that B-bomb side, but as I say that, 2 people get instantly taken out. Simple is backstabbing, though, not able to land the shots onto Edward.
Such low HP for both Seized and Edward. Simple might be able to do something about that. In fact, he gets Seized, but unfortunately, it's Guardian there. It would be the Guardian Angel to Edward, who had the low HP as well, so that'll close it out.
Weirdly enough, Navi that entire time didn't have the bomb like anywhere near his site. Flame was just kind of hanging out in mid with the bomb all by himself. So yeah, Navi doesn't even have to commit with a bomb towards the site to win rounds right now. And yeah, it's got to be the double eco, no big surprise. Simple actually going for a deagle, but then again, it's going to have enough money for their op in the next round. And Navi just doing Navi things, just a very straightforward anti-eco from there and take it over mid slowly. Gaining control and Yeah, this is pretty much what we've seen the entire game so far.
Simple, a little bit aggressive toward Palace, hoping someone comes that direction. Zeus waiting on the smoke, though. It's Blade that walks through and realizes that Connector's already lost. What that doesn't mean is that they're going A, though, because they want Catwalk, and that flash was perfect. Markelov, despite doing some early damage, couldn't see where to fire, and as a result goes down. Guardian will find Simple. One exchange does go the way of FlipSid, fortunately. A little bit of a consolation prize as Zeus gets dropped, but it's Guardian to close out the round. Another 2K, or rather, excuse me, 3K for him. And again, I mean, this is 2 rounds only for FlipSid CT. It's problematic. They just can't seem to hold off Na'Vi in any position right now. They're losing all the exchanges. And they need, I mean, 5 rounds is almost enough, but they're not even going to get close to that at this rate.
Yeah, and they're going to be in this awkward situation where as soon as they lose a round, their money is going to be completely shot. So this is, again, a massive investment from FlipSid. And even if they win the round, if they don't win with at least 3 people alive, they're going to feel, you know, the result of that in the upcoming round.
And Blade flashing over top of Connector. That does blind Edward. There's 2 players at underpass. Already they're looking to go for a boost on Guardian to give him vision toward that window. To see if they can catch Simple pushing forward. Double op, World Edit, we'll see what he can do. Simple's, by the way, in jungle looking toward Palace, so already leaving window early, and Seized will take World Edit, so 1 op already down. It's an investment not well savored. It's spent and gone, although Markelov does wait inside the ladder room. He'll find Edward rotating across. Flamey trades it, and Markelov could have gone a little bit more passive, but Seized has just been waiting inside B at the bench. He's going to find Simple rotating over because he had no idea that that site had been given up. Seized had been there for so long, there was no information relayed. It is still a 1-on-2 though, but Bondic is in a really tight position. He does turn back and realize Zeus could have been there, but unfortunately doesn't get the kill.
Yeah, once again, that getting onto that B bomb site with no bomb still just paying off massively for Na'Vi. And, well, FlipSid back into a black hole, really. Down to another eco. Luckily for them, they're only going to have to do 1 eco this time around, but still, giving Na'Vi potentially 11 rounds on their T side, it's not a place you want to be at.
It's a creep here from Markelov to try and get through the close smoke that allows Edward to slide out to the boxes. But it's all going on the A side is Seized and Zeus. They each get a kill, make it 2 for Zeus, and Edward's now going to find Markelov, who was, again, trying to creep up, and it's perfection. Not a single point of HP lost on Navi's side. Yeah,
so pretty easy 11th round for Na'Vi. Double upset have come up once again for FlipSid, but at this one, I honestly think it's too late. I mean, it's going to be nice to get 4 rounds on the CT side when you're in this situation, but I still think it's way too many rounds for Na'Vi. And the worst part really for FlipSid is that most of the buy rounds haven't really been that close either.
Markelov this time, not getting aggressive on Catwalk, has to wait it out inside B. And it's Zeus through the smoke to find Bondic on the Palace, on the balcony. He's played there before, that's the first time they've actually caught him out, but what are the odds? They check it right away. Simple at least recovers, takes down Guardian. In fact, Edward gone before that does give FlipSid a bit of a chance. Remember, 12-3 was the halftime score on Inferno against FlipSid, so we could be in a similar situation, but again, this time it's their CT, not their T that's struggling. Seized to put out a Molotov toward B.
And Zeus with the shot onto a jumping Simple. So yeah, everybody from Na'Vi getting shots in. And this leaves the A side pretty vulnerable. They do have a World Edit on Catwalk who could potentially pick up people coming up from Connector, but Blade is going to have to do a massive job.
Blade has to be massive, and he is so far. That's bomb down as well. So 27 seconds, bomb dropped in mid. Blade's aware of this. They'll rotate accordingly. In fact, they're going to bring Markelov off the B site to try and support, but Flamey's found Blade. World Edit's already slid out onto the catwalk, though, with the op. And again, they can't recover this bomb, and Zeus trying desperately with his op that he's recovered. Can do no more either, and FlipSid now have 3. It would be a huge, huge boost of confidence if they could pick up 2 in a row and grab the 4th.
Yeah. But there you see, like, even though they went around, they only survived with 2 people, so the buy is not going to be that great. They have Moss and Blade, and pretty lackluster amount of nades on World Edit as well. They do get the op onto Simple though, which is a nice benefit, but now they've just given nothing for Simple to work with the mid. They're just playing it so slowly, smoking off everything. They actually missed the smoke this time around. So, golden opportunity for Simple here.
Zeus takes down Simple, start things off. But sees the drop before that, now it's a flash out. Guardian gets caught by that. That's thrown by Markelov on Catwalk. He's going to get counter flash, but hugging the wall, he's able to dodge it. He doesn't see Edward in this smoke, but he does see into the connector. He'll find Zeus. He needs to be aware, though, that he's going to get countered immediately. He gets around the corner, 14 HP, and Markelov tries to pre-fire, and successfully so. Edward walks out, and the bullet already in the air. He won't be able to dodge that one like Neo, and that means Bondic will now find Flamey, and they might be on their way to this 4th round. They may still get this. As Guardian, the last that remains, has the op up. It's a 1-on-4, and how amazing would this be if Guardian could pull this off? He's done this type of thing before, but in this situation where they have the lead and FlipSid finally have something going, how heartbreaking would that be? Heartbreaking. It's a word, by the way, Vendetta.
No, that's news to me. I'm gonna allow it anyway, even if it wasn't, because it's Canada Day.
Perfect. Well, he does fake the plant. He's going to try and bait them out. They are waiting at jungle. He has a chance here to hit this second shot just barely over the right shoulder of Markelov. And that means he's down to 14 HP. And now they come out. They line up. Guardian hits them both. Markelov goes down. He may just pull this off. 1-on-4 as FlipSid have to pull this back. And this means Guardian's going to get the ball plant, but World Edit. Such good composure. Fires through the box. And my God, Markelov getting doubled up like that. Guardian could have pulled it.
Yeah, when you see stuff like that happens, you kind of expect it to happen as well. Good on World Edit for figuring out where Guardian was planning. So they do get that 4th round, but still, I mean, talk about an uphill struggle going into that second half. So even though FlipSid have a very strong T side on Mirage, I don't think it's this strong.
Yeah, I actually tend to agree with you a little bit on that. I'm not sure it is 100% as strong as we would expect. It is decent. They've come back. In fact, they've come back twice in 2 different occurrences from 12 3 halves. This time they've got one more to work with, but they've never done it against a team that's tier 1. They've only ever done it against tier 2 teams. So we'll see what they can make work. But I mean, again, this is that round for Guardian. If you pulled that off, like, FlipSid might as well just bow out now, because that would have been just ridiculous. And you know Guardian thought he had a chance once he hit that double.
Oh yeah. And right now, we're in the same situation as we saw in Inferno. FlipSid, to have any hope of surviving this onslaught, they're going to have to win the pistol. It's really that easy.
Laid out a spawn from FlipSid's perspective. And
Yeah,
Zeus
I'm
finding
not-
Simple already. I'm not sure what was going on there. It was almost like we weren't live. They were so long making their decision on how they were going to buy. In fact, Camilla's just talking now inside chat, so maybe there is an issue with this particular round,
yeah.
because that was peculiar.
Bondic is just kind of hanging out in spawn. Not really sure.
Yeah,
what's
he's
going on.
dropped. He's dropped. So that was the issue. That's what they were trying to wait for. So this may be a replayed pistol round. We'll have to see. There was no pause call in the freeze time, but it was apparent that before they even left spawn, there was an issue. Guardian picks up a double. We'll continue on as though this will be continued, as Seized will take down Blade. Inevitably, there will be a pause right now, and we'll see what's going to happen.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too surprised if we replayed that pistol. That seems like the fair thing to do because, well, Bondic was out of it the entire time.
And no word yet inside chat. I do have to bring up the console to view most of the typing commands, but again, it's Bondic that's dropped out, and it was done at the start of the round, so we may have a redone pistol. If not, Na'Vi just picked up a round that could potentially put them out of reach, because they'll, pending any eco rounds, potentially could pick up a round of, or a 3-round spread here, which would put them on 14, and only 4 for FlipSid. And no word yet, so no one's really saying much inside the server.
Yeah, everybody's just hanging out pretty much. Well, I mean, assuming this pistol will get replayed, then FlipSid do get a second chance. So that's going to be something they're going to have to look forward to, but I think the biggest problem for them right now is the fact that Simple has been a non-factor so far in this game. And that's mainly due to the fact how Na'Vi played.
I'm gonna correct you. A non-factor is still a factor, Vendetta. I'm kidding.
Where?
I'm kidding. Hoi, 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 hoi. No, I agree, though. We haven't seen the simple of SLTV, the simple that everyone's scared of when they play this team. It really is I won't call it a one-man carry, but it really is, the make or break point of this team.
Oh yeah, well he's kind of the unstoppable force of that team, but Navi's done actually, everything right to stop them. So with them taking so much caution really before going into mid, smoking off every possible way of peeking into mid before they actually commit to it, that's just the perfect way of playing it, because Simple had zero opportunity. He had one round where Navi missed the smoke, but 2.5 seconds after that smoke misses, Suses up an underpass and takes out Simple, because Simple finally sees an opportunity to pick someone off in mid. It looks like Bondic is back. I'm not sure if they're going to reset the round or what's happening. If they decide to continue from here on out, then I think it's just game over. I think Navi has this backed up.
I'm seeing unpause called, so I think they are just going to go from this point. Yep, they are. They're not even going to protest it. I see no complaints from FlipSide. So an unfortunate situation for them to be in. Perhaps not issuing a protest to this in the fact that they've already conceded defeat. I feel like this might be potentially too far out of reach, but World Edit, he's a highlight reel with the deagle. He really is a great deagler, and he just takes down Zeus with a one-tap coming around the corner. Edward, though, nice shot, too, clipping the edge of the head from Blade as he jumps up, and Edward taking World Edit as well with the headshot from a FAMAS. Guardian's going to get aggressive in mid, has a chance to take down Markelov, and he won't throw that chance away, leaving only Bondic. The player who did lag out comes back in, jumping Tech 9. Grabs a FAMAS. We'll see if he can do anything with it. Actually, looking to do something with it. He'll take down Guardian, goes for the jump shot there, and Edward, the second time he's hit a jumping player, puts us on 13.
Yeah. And, well, no surprise from FlipSide. They're going to do another eco. Not deciding to risk anything, or I guess it's not that much of a risk either, considering how far behind they are, but not going to go for the ultimate YOLO play and bank on pistols being the saving grace.
It's going to be seized to take down Markelov inside the apartments as well through that smoke, and Zeus getting aggressive. Blade, that's bombed down. Bombed down in middle, mind you, as well. So Guardian now taking World Edit. What can Bondic possibly do? Absolutely nothing. Simple has a knife out, and I think Simple's just going to go, yeah, well, this is Simple doing Simple things. This is when you know communication's completely broken down on FlipSide's team, unless he was trying to desperately get money for an op. But Blade has the money for an op if they wanted the glass cannon, but they're not going to.
Yeah, no, I think FlipSide are just out of it. Obviously, having one guy time out during the pistol round is not what you want to happen. But if they're not gonna, ask for a reset of the pistol round, which I think would have been fair, and I don't think Navi would have had any issue with replaying it either. If you're not gonna do that, it just kind of gives away the fact that you've given up all hope.
Bondic now working in toward Palace to try and open up something on the A site because it is the first gun round and unfortunately seized. He's going to put Blade to sleep as he gets aggressive inside the apartment. Simple recovers though, catches Flamey, dodging the flash, tries to get aggressive on Guardian, and Guardian's having none of that. He holds true from the top of jungle. Simple, he's not even going to get inside the archway toward the site. Markelov does get seized though, so it does keep things even. In fact, the HP is fairly even as well. World Edit's on 64. There's 2 on 100 right now for Navi. But there's also 2 on single digits, 1 on either side, Edward and Markelov. And the bomb is rotating back through T-spawn. It's at Horseshoe now, so it's going to take about another 15 seconds before they can execute on this A site, but they only have 1 defender directly inside of it. The other player that remains, Guardian, he's still covering off on middle right now. Take that back, it's actually Edward, excuse me, and World Edit's going to find Zeus on entry. This means Edward has to be the one to move, so FlipSide may actually be able to get this round. As smokes flashes, it's all going to head out, and oh man, that cross. Markelov had low HP 7. Edward could have picked him up with 1 bullet. It would have put us to 2 on 2 on the retake. Instead, Navi have to make a decision. Do they go or do they stay? And Guardian wants to go. He gets above the fire. He fires over, in fact, back toward Markelov, and that's going to put him down. But Bondic's in an okay position here, using Palace to his advantage. World Edit 64, and in fact, they ask HP, so they knew that Markelov had to be low. But the other 2 are not low enough. World Edit, great post-plant position inside the arch. He takes down both.
Yeah, and I think that round pretty much came down to the fact that Cease was playing a tad too aggressive. Picked up the first kill, great and all, puts down a smoke and then opts to run through that smoke with a pop flash that went over the smoke. So Markelov could easily see that, turn away, and pick up the kill on Zeist. And that just created so much space for FlipSid. Also the fact that, as soon as World Edit walks up from that ace help, he picks the perfect timing onto the one defender from Na'Vi on that A bomb site.
Simple opening up things again, so FlipSid could potentially break the economy from Na'Vi, and Markelov does catch Edward working through the smoke. It's Guardian looking toward Palace, puts a shot that was actually on target, but no one really there to collect it because no one was directly in the doorway. They were around the corner. This World Edit's going to slide back down toward the horseshoe. And Seized will look desperately toward the sky and hope someone drops out the windows. He catches the first coming off the balcony, and now Simple realizes he's there. Simple's trying desperately, 22 HP, but he can't find the shot. And all the while, this allows the rotations to join in from Market, and Simple, getting a reload in, has time to still find Seized, and does so before he can get cancelled out by Guardian, who was waiting for the cross from World Edit, and successfully finding that shot does bring it back to only Flamey remaining as Markelov gets Guardian in exchange. Bomb yet to be planted. Simple will do the duties. But Flamey's still lurking. Unfortunately, he's been spotted before he could even catch one off guard, and that means it's going to be 6 now for FlipSid.
Yeah, once again, that elusive 15th round for Na'Vi. Just taking a while to actually get there. But, well, right now, FlipSid getting the better off the trades, really, and the picks. That's pretty much what it is. They're just holding off of executions until they get the picks they're happy with. And this is, well, new, I guess. The 3-man push-in apartments from Na'Vi. Not gonna work out. Bondik picks up 1 kill, then backs off.
And FlipSid, they continue on doing the damage, but look at this aggressive play from Na'Vi. It's not gonna work. It could be flawless right now on the anti-eco. Bondik missing on a few shots. He'll keep himself alive, though, and in doing so, he will keep all 5 alive. Now they can start to build this economy in reverse, but the guns are coming out again for Na'Vi.
Yeah, and Na'Vi, again, having such a big cushion, similar well, game picture as we had on Inferno. They have all the time in the world to really just have as many ecos as they'd like and get a proper buy. I'm actually surprised that they didn't opt for something like a glass cannon on Guardian, or just do another eco, because they could have gone for it, just another eco, because they have so many rounds to work with, but they feel confident in just going up against FlipSid with no op.
And Simple lurking slowly has Zeus to contend with the second he walks around the doorway, but Zeus changes his angle, so this will allow more space to be given, and Zeus actually winning against Simple, but traded to Bondik. Still a man down, though. Our FlipSid as Edward shuffles across the window, and Bondik trying to fire back does find Guardian, but he has to retreat on only 13 HP.
But look at the rotation it has created from Na'Vi. Na'Vi just left the B-bomb site completely open now because of Bondik, so this should be a fairly easy plan, actually, if FlipSid, catch a hold of this. But Edward, this could either be glorious or just very anticlimactic from Edward.
And then Edward does catch off Bondik trying to rotate around the long way. That'll give up the gig that there is going to be one player coming from the apartments as World Edit. He'll flash in early and get the op in position to spot him as soon as he jumps, not able to hit the shot. Luckily, Blade's taken down Seized, so that gives them some room to breathe. They don't have to deal with multiple players coming in on just a poor, lowly World Edit. Instead, he gives up that shot on Palace, or rather, apartments, excuse me. He's already spotted him, and Blade will do the duties, taking down him as World Edit recovers, takes to Flamey. And again, Na'Vi stuck on 14 rounds, much like we saw in Inferno.
Yeah. It's pretty much the same tale, and, well, they're not going to invest that heavily into their next eco, just picking up a couple of pistols, a smoke, and a flash on Edward and Seized, and that's about it. So I'm assuming we're going to see an op coming out on Guardian in the upcoming round, but this should be a pretty easy round for FlipSid. FlipSid are actually pushing pretty aggressively up. Knowing they're up against an eco, they're not really that scared, but they could have run into a stack because they're going in completely blind here, but Simple's going to start things off with a kill on Guardian. Actually follows that up with a kill on Flamey, and then the tap shots onto Edward. So that's pretty much the round by itself. Simple kind of doing everything on his own.
And Simple still looking to try and find more to find the last player that's remaining, but Boondick will beat him to it. And again, they're almost to double digits. Very similar storyline to what we saw on Inferno. That's 5 rounds. That was a 5-round spread before they picked up 15 last time. So we'll see if Na'Vi can answer right now, and they're going to bring out the Op on Guardian to try and do so, but they're going to have to contend with Simple's Op as well.
Yeah, the benefit for Na'Vi this time around is the fact that they do actually have quite a few nades to work with. But what?
Rip Guardian.
Yeah.
Gets caught in transition as Simple beat him to the corner, had the slightly more opportunistic spawn. Got there significantly faster and was already set up.
That was a cool play from FlipSid, actually. That was World Edit dropping the Op for Simple, because Simple had the better spawn to get into that position, and it worked out nicely. Simple hands off the Op back to World Edit, and, well, they'll just assume duties as normal.
And Zeus at least will catch Markolov off guard coming out from underpass. That'll give some more control back to middle, because now they don't have the ability to overwhelm them. Sensory overload up close, so that means they can only have to cover off top mid and contain the rest of the play right now. It actually takes a significant amount of map control away from FlipSid. As Simple waits outside of the stairwell for the call from his teammates, but they have all actually, with the exception of Blade, as we can see here working in the lurk, have all gone back to that A site, and World Edit looks to be the one that wants to go for the entry. He has the op to do it. He does spot the head of Flamey, who's standing still, unaware that he was in the line of sight from World Edit, looking toward Palace, and that's a perfect way to start things off. He'll drop the bomb and now cover toward jungle, but he needs to be aware that Edward, he can see the gun, is coming up the stairwell, and World Edit remains composed and gets the shot, but now it's Zeus's turn to find World Edit in exchange, and the bomb goes down. Very low HP, and I think, in fact, that Simple was spotted heading toward jungle. So despite the fact that Na'Vi are both coming from the same angle, they've got at least some information on where one player is, and Seized will get Blade. This forces Simple to have to rotate, and he's been kind of clever about it, in fact, heading all the way toward the window, but Seized pushes forward. He'll take this fight. He has to wait for the fire to go away. He has a kit, though, so he's got lots of time. He gets on it early, and he actually gets way too early. He timed that all wrong, and FlipSid gifted around.
I don't even know what that was. That was just a horrible play. Like, as you said, you know the Molotov lasts for a certain amount of time, and that was just... no. Like, he ran in, like, 2 seconds at the most after. So he's gonna get the full time with within that Molotov while defusing, and that's gonna take you to you're gonna die even if you're almost at full HP in that type of situation. So just supremely weird play from Na'Vi.
Nice shots by World Edit 2 to start things off. Seized, though, does at least get Simple on the other side of the map. I still can't believe that play we just saw. How do you walk into fire that soon? He had time regardless with the kit. I think he just wanted to show off how clever he was, but apparently he was too clever for his own good.
Yeah. And again, like, Na'Vi are getting forced off of that B bomb site with the rotations because, well, FlipSid are getting so many picks, but Seized, like at about an underpass now, actually picks up a kill on Markolov.
And Blade will take Seized away. Leave it with just Edward, but he's doing what he can to make a case for this round. Spots up one on CT, has to fall back. Might try and beat him to this rotation point. In fact, that smoke comes out, but he's going to spam through it, and that's the smart play as Bondic gets caught. Bomb's rotating back over to A, because on that rotation they realize they can't get to B. And Edward may actually push... Okay, no, he's heading catwalk, so he thinks this is going to head toward B, but if he realizes now, in fact, he does, he can fall back down. And I'm not sure, because at that point, that connection point, that L turn at A, you can hear the top of middle, so Edward may have possibly heard Blade as he was still running at that point, but Edward, he's wise to the fact that Edward's coming from that angle, and he's going to win the exchange. It's 14-11.
Na'Vi are just really struggling to actually close this out. And, well, we're gonna have a pause from FlipSid. I'm not sure if... Okay, yeah, so it's Blade's internet on the fritz once again, but Na'Vi should have been at 15 rounds right now. Hadn't it been for the, I guess, the Pyromaniac on their side.
Yeah, that was nuts.
Yeah, it was just straight up a dumb move.
Like, I was looking at his HP thinking, ah, yeah, he's fine here, and then he does that.
Oh, yeah, like, Molotovs hurt. Fire is not good for you.
It's all about those DOTs, baby.
More dots. In any case, Navi still struggling to find that 5th round, back to an eco, and they're like, even if they decide to buy up in the next round, they're not going to have that great of a buy. Zeus is down to $1,600, so he's going to be at a bit of a sore spot anyway. And right now, Navi doesn't really, like, sure they have a 3-round lead, but it's getting to the point where they can't actually afford to do double ecos.
And Simple will walk out and catch Edward with the AK. Bondic, realizing that Zeus is hard on the flank, will catch him off guard, and this round, this game, it's very far from over. Again, FlipSid with a very late comeback. And Navi pulling a TSM today, not able to get past 14, or at least struggling to. They managed to on Inferno, but it took them until they were on 16-14 themselves to do it. And Blade will put the bomb down, Flamey the last that's alive. Not really much of an answer that's possible in this case, 1-on-4. AK a long way from the site. That bomb's going to have lots of time to tick away, and in fact, Markelov's going to catch him before he can even get to mid and look for exits.
Alright. I'm curious, yeah, Navi are going to decide to buy up, so Zeus is going to be the one, you know, getting the short end of the stick in this situation. He's actually, well, has he, oh, what? They actually managed to get an auto for Zeus, and Cease is the one who's got to take the hit, economically speaking. Well, this might work out for Navi after all. It's a pretty solid way of holding off that A bomb site. But the biggest thing right now is just don't let Navi get a pick. No, I mean FlipSid get a pick here. Because they've forced so many rotations out of Navi this entire second half. So the best Navi can do is just play passively and let FlipSid come to you.
And World Edit, he lets Seized come to him, so he might have waited. He waited a little bit in the wrong angle. That's going to open things up now. Has to force the player on Catwalk to return and recover as they drop out from apartments. And Markelov, he actually beats Edwards. So Markelov's actually come on with some impact kills in this second half. Again, he hasn't been the highlight reel that he used to be, but he's definitely still contributing. And now they've got the B site to work with. And in fact, Navi, they don't even want to mess with this. Keep the guns and stay alive over at A. This is going to go the distance yet again.
This is just a really weird CT side from, or really poor CT side from Navi. They could have closed this game out. But instead, FlipSid still hanging in there. And imagine if FlipSid actually picked up the pistol round. If they decided to replay that pistol round, that would have probably given them 3 more rounds.
And Flamey waiting. Guardian doing all the work right now to knock the weapons down. Why do I keep getting knocked into third person? Please, Volvo. Fix. As Guardian waits. Gets another. Guardian waits. Can't get the last. It's Blade to take him down at least. But they lost one gun out of all of that saving, and Zeus goes for the auto sniper.
Now it's Navi's time to... Okay. Navi deciding that apparently Guardian isn't doing good enough of a job, so... No, but like Guardian apparently had internet issues, so Star cops in rather quickly, and well, it's on the coach to help his team finish this off.
Rainbow op out for World Edit. Let's see if we can take full advantage of it right now as the auto sniper from Flamey is going to be in play. Never mind, it's gone. Simple already found it. He took one bullet from it, and that's it. As the AK wins the battle. And Ticket Boot's a pretty common spot. We've seen Get Right get aces from there before using that weapon. It's already gone. They've got a chance now for FlipSid to tie this back up and potentially tie the series in an incredible comeback. As Simple, knowing the situation with his team, is going to head back toward B. And it actually, oh, okay, so I'm not sure if you saw that. There's an op that's dropped outside the map, and Simple was desperate to try and grab it, as it's thrown all the way up toward the flower bed, and Simple couldn't get to it.
I'm actually surprised that he would want to opt for an op there if they're committing to that B bomb site.
I'm actually curious as to how that op even got there.
That's actually a good question. Cease does have an auto sniper as well to hold up this B apps, so this could be really tough.
And it's going to be Edward that catches Blade. And this has turned the round back because now they have the advantage, but not before Markelov can take down Seized. And World Edit will get the bomb in play after this, because Zeus isn't quite in a close enough angle, although he can get out the fire to do anything about it. And Starix, who comes into this round, is going to be able to pick up Markelov. Starix now gets a double. The coach is still the player. the master, and he puts them on match point. Maybe that's what they needed all along, was the hat trick from Starix.
Yeah, like, who's Guardian? What a scrub. Get Starix in there, just instantly gets them the first buy round, really, that Navi's had all second half on their entire CT side. So coming up big here in the final moments. Oh, and he actually suffers the same fate as Guardian when he tried to peek towards Simple in mid. And, well, FlipSid are definitely making work out of the response, which is cool to see. The fact that they are taking the response into consideration. So, again, Simple getting dropped the op for that first pick gets the op back to World Edit right after.
And Flamey nading out toward a ramp. And he'll fall back accordingly. Starix is already out of this round, so the hero's gone. Gotham City is still in trouble right now as Markelov will find C's. That gives the two-man advantage to FlipSid, and it's match point yet again. See if they can push this over the edge, as it would have been so close in both matches on comebacks from FlipSid. They just have to work on their first halves, apparently. A CT side on Inferno was alright, their T side lackluster, and here it's the opposite, and Simple's gonna jump up over top of the stairwell. Zeus turns back, up close manages to take him down, and Edward finding Markelov before that. This is all going Na'Vi as Flamey won the last right in front of him, but can't get the gun out in time. He does, and that's gonna do it. 16-13, 2-0 in the series, but it could have been a lot easier if Na'Vi could close out games.
A whole lot easier, but in the end they get the job done. Starix doing his, his part. Wasn't enough to just being on the sidelines, but yeah, no, that definitely should have been an easier victory for Na'Vi, but credit to FlipSid for actually getting back into things. And that's even with the botched pistol round where Bondic times out. So you can only imagine if they have those 3 extra rounds, they've already won.
I know, that's crazy to think that Na'Vi, it took them that long to close it out, but hats off, to FlipSid for being able to open up some opportunities again. Getting early picks, their T side looked far more composed, but their CT definitely has major issues on Mirage. And against these top teams, against the lower teams, the T side is enough to carry them, and it almost was here. But against these top teams, they need that CT side to come on, so they're gonna have to work on that. Blade's gonna have to go back to the drawing board.
Yeah, but I think in most cases, fixing on your CT sides is easier than fixing your T sides. So that is a benefit that FlipSid has going further. And it's been a lasting issue as well, so they know, like, at some point when they don't have, a ton of official games every single day and they actually have some time to practice and not having to travel to tournaments all the time, they will hopefully be able to do something about that.
All right, well, we do have another match coming up a little bit later on. Oh, that's not the right screen. Either way, it is going to be, as we can see, next match is Titan versus Hellraisers. Wait a minute, this is all wrong. This is not right. Either way, it's Titan versus Penta. I'm pressing all the wrong buttons because I'm panicking. It's Titan versus Penta Sports, and it's going to be in about 48 minutes, so you guys can come back. I will take the stream down just so we can reset the VODs. There's a look at the group, by the way. Na'Vi, the first into double digits for points. They lead the way. And this does bode well for Kingwin. The fact that FlipSid don't pick up a win here means that Kingwin now actually get a better chance to move forward in the group. It just stabilizes them. It means they don't have to fall to fourth and fight their way out. They can actually battle it with FlipSid directly. So their head-to-head game is actually going to mean quite a lot. But like I said, we're going to take the stream down. We'll just get the VODs cut, and then I'll bring it right back up, and we'll idle until we go into Titan and Penta. So we'll see you in about, probably by the time we go live, about half an hour. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.